I'm gonna hold that mug like when I'm singing.
You recording on here? All right. I always hate. This is why I don't want to be the host, because I hate starting off the show. I never know how to do that. All right, we're just gonna get into it, I suppose.
Hey y'all.
Okay. Okay.
Welcome back.
Hey.
Just childish.
I just want to make noise.
Literally.
Go ahead.
Hey y'all.
I'm digging this.
Why is he still talking?
I'm sorry.
Welcome back to Thank God for the Group Chat.
Hey.
Welcome back to the turn up.
You got
everybody.
it. You got it.
We're glad to be back. We have a great program lined up for y'all tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Or tomorrow, whenever y'all listen to this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be great.
Yo, I was talking to, who was I talking to about mm-hmm? And like how mm-hmm can be like very implicative.
I have no idea.
Like it's like, oh, it's like the difference between like a guy just giving you a compliment and a pervert. It's like
Right.
This
chicken is so good.
Exactly.
All right. I don't know
exactly
how you feel about chickens, but
yeah, man. So it's a new year. It's a new year. So I'm glad that we're all here. Glad to have y'all here. I'm going full. I don't know about y'all, man, but I'm going full speed.
0 to 100.
Yes, man. I'm
Real
not playing no games. You either at the table or you on the menu.
You know what I'm saying? For real.
Yeah, man. So so I don't know how well we're getting off to a good start here, but
I mean, it's all good. We're just gonna go for it.
It's whatever.
You know
do it. My name is Keith Roberson. I'm a curator. I'm a video curator. I would like to call myself that.
Turn up
for today. To my left, I got Jared J. Paul, songwriter, singer extraordinaire.
More of a songwriter this year. Let's go.
Carpenter. That's what you are. You're a carpenter, right?
Yeah.
Ish. It brings in money. That's who you. That's what you are.
Turn up. Let's do it.
There it is. Jesus was a carpenter.
Come
Don't
on,
be
somebody.
afraid to be no carpenter. If Jesus was a carpenter. I got Victoria over here. What does Victoria do?
Wow.
I don't know.
Side eye.
She does
everybody.
like she.
That was rude.
It's not rude. It's not rude.
No.
Is it rude? What do you do?
I'm a freelance digital marketer.
Boom.
Hey.
Yeah. I'm out here.
She's
if
a
y'all
turn-up
need
artist.
If y'all need me for any social media management, email marketing, or project management needs, hit me up.
Boom.
Hey, well, we gonna talk. We gonna talk.
This is how you grow.
That's
You know
how
what I'm
you
saying?
do it.
Make it
That's how you do
known.
it. That's how you do it. To her right is Jonathan Ellis.
Yeah, I'm Jonathan Ellis.
That's me.
I go by John on my social media. John 12 to 13 on YouTube. I'm a
You know what
writer.
I'm saying? That plug. You feel me?
Yeah, you got to start with it.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you end with it like a sandwich. And
Hey,
so people remember.
thank you, brother. I need you.
Thank you.
I need you.
I
You
need
need me.
Anyway, yeah. So this is my first time on the chat, right? It's
No,
group chat. This is the first time here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah and no, but yeah,
Okay.
okay.
But yeah,
You
it's
were
great
in
to be
spirit,
here.
I guess. I don't
it's
know.
great to be
No,
here.
like I mean, before you were on the show one time, a couple of times actually, before we changed the name of it.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Turn up.
And to his right, we have.
Harmony Constance.
Are you Harmony Constance today?
I am, yes.
Okay.
My stage name, Harmony Constance. I published a book through Harmony Constance,
Yes.
so there's the plug.
Hey.
From Hurt to Healed, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and at @high_podcast on Twitter. So there's that. Also on the channel. So the Hurt and Insecure podcast, that's
Amen.
me. But I'm really happy to be here in the Thank God for the Group chat.
We glad
Chat.
we glad
tonight.
you're here too.
Yes, sir.
So we gonna get right into it. So we got an all-star cast here.
I'm gonna just body
today.
roll all night.
Not that we don't ever. Nobody can see the
Okay.
body roll. I mean,
Oh,
you can
we got
watch on
video.
our YouTube.
Well, I'm
on
gonna
our
body
YouTube
roll
channel,
all
but
night.
people usually listen. They don't usually watch.
I'm gonna make sure that y'all
Y'all
can hear
watch the YouTube channel.
it. Right.
And have other comments. We got like a comment the other day. It was crazy. We got like 2 comments the other day. He said, it doesn't suck. He said, I'll subscribe.
Dang.
So we appreciate you.
We
sir.
did.
We
don't
we
suck.
appreciate you. He said, it doesn't suck. He said, I'll slide y'all a subscription. That's what he said. Those are his exact words. All right. So, I mean, the holiday season just passed. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but how was everybody's holiday? How was everybody's like Christmas and New Year's and stuff? What y'all do? Anything exciting? Anybody?
Yeah, superb. I had a friend for Christmas fly me out to Arizona, and I was able to hang out with a bunch of people that I used to live in community with in California, but they've kind of migrated a little bit.
Who are you friends
That's
with
dope.
enough to fly you out?
A real one.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yes.
Obviously. Who flew you out?
Thank you. The best friend. We're co-authoring and
I'm looking
urban
for like a
fantasy
he
together.
or she.
Right.
Mhm.
So it's been it was great. It was one of the best holidays, and it was too late to go spend time with the family because I was planning on actually setting up a new house that I'm still in the process of closing. And so instead of being alone and couch surfing for the holiday, they rescued me, and it was wonderful.
Turn
It was
up.
great. Yeah, it was a great surprise.
You went to Arizona for Christmas.
And I bet it was still 165
Was
degrees. How hot
I
was
think
it?
so.
Was it?
No. In Phoenix, it was 75, 80. But
Okay.
I was north of there in Prescott Valley, which was actually kind of similar to the Atlanta weather before it got, around how it is now without the wet.
Okay. Cool.
Somebody else? Y'all just keep talking.
I went to Chicago.
Go for it.
I went to Chicago.
You went to Chicago?
Hey,
That's where
Chi-Town.
I'm- That's where I'm from. So I went home.
Am I tripping or ain't that the Wendy's?
Yeah.
Okay, just
It
making
is.
sure.
Yeah, that's when.
Making sure I
Chocolate
wasn't tripping.
City, as R. Kelly
You know
would
what
call
I'm
it.
Oh yeah, Chocolate City
Chocolate
too.
City.
We don't need
Or,
Chirac.
or Gotham City,
many-
as R. Kelly would call it.
As the
Gotham
Dark Knight.
City.
That's where the Dark Knight was shot. So,
It was.
Why
yeah.
are we talking about R. Kelly?
Robert?
Because he's from
We
Chicago.
do not acknowledge.
Robert.
Robert.
Not
We
Robert.
miss
Robert. Right. Go ahead.
Come
go
on,
ahead.
Oh, it was fun.
dead air.
It was fun. I was with my family most of the time. Took my brother around, and that was a really treat. That was a treat for me. And went to my brother's house, saw my grandma and my other people. So it was a good time. It was a good time. It was challenging for other reasons, but like the good time was very good. The good times was very good.
That's what's up.
That's great. So I was here because I'm from here.
Awesome.
So little sister came home from college. She's out in Texas,
What part of Texas?
Houston.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Jared's from Dallas.
I'm from Dallas.
Oh,
so,
it's
yeah.
okay. I'm sorry.
Whoa. She doesn't even know anything
Shots
about
fired.
Texas.
So,
Or you. Right. You know what I'm saying?
are you? But yeah, so sister came home, it was just us four, mom, dad, sister, me, hanging out. We attempted to set a budget per person for gifts.
That
we
never
all
works.
failed. We all failed.
So we do White Elephant. That's what me and my people do.
Yeah, we do White Elephant too.
It works.
Maybe
I just
we
give
should
it.
try that next year.
I literally
Yeah.
just give it to. It's not gonna work. It's
It's
still not
not.
gonna work.
Okay.
Yeah. You still gonna buy everybody a gift.
So for the people that don't know,
Yeah.
the White Elephant is. I'll let you explain it.
So White Elephant is when you have either a limit or maximum for a gift, and you bring in one gift, and it's supposed to be like gender neutral, so like anybody could get the gift, and you put the gifts together in a pile, and then like you draw numbers or whatever out of a hat, and then one person gets up, picks a gift, and then the next person gets up and picks a gift, or they can steal a gift.
See, I don't like that.
And that's how it works.
Nah, it's actually I
How
like
you
playing
do
it
it.
or
There's
not
different
playing it
ways.
because like there's different ways. What I do, especially what I did this year, is I'll just have a gift, but I don't participate outside of that. I'll just throw a gift in there and let one of my little cousins play. I'm like, oh, you want to play? Here. They're like, you should play. I'm like, I don't want nothing. I just gave this gift so y'all know I'm a part of this family. That's all. That's about it. That's
An
about it.
alternative Victoria to this white elephant.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't
mess or having to buy everybody.
Don't call it messes. A
It's
family
having-
tradition.
we do secret Santas in our family.
I mean, that's essentially what it is. It's Secret Santa.
But it's not based on the
Secret Santa,
basis
you,
of what a
like,
person
pick
wants. Like I just put up a wish list.
What a girl
and I
wants,
receive
what a
stuff.
girl
I mean, it's much better than you giving somebody a gift that you don't know if they're gonna want or not. You know what I mean?
And
So
the thing
everybody virtually comes out.
We can get
On time.
what we want. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We have money. We just want family.
Whoa!
Fun.
We got money.
Fun and friendship and love. That's what it's about. It's about enjoying your family and playing
But
the games
most people
together.
like to get most people want to get most people want to get something that they can't get themselves.
That's true. But that's why we do a limit, so you can't buy anything under $25.
Right.
So you
Or
make sure
over
that
what?
Or over.
Right.
For us.
Well,
it
in my
was-
family, we didn't have a limit
No,
on
for
over.
us, oh dang! For us, it was you don't
Y'all
buy
have
anything
money.
over
Over $25.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
See, my family.
All right, Jonathan. See,
what I'm saying?
we got money.
We didn't know.
We got a minimum. We ain't got no limit. We got a minimum.
You just can't get me this Rolls Royce for under $25.
Right. That's too much. That's why I draw the line.
We have fun. It's about fun.
Maybe I'll propose that next year,
Yeah, man. It's fun. Y'all like
or
it.
ask us to up the limit. I think that
Wait,
was the problem.
who's in your family that's doing it? Just you, your mom, your daddy? Oh, no. No, you got to have the extended family play that
Right.
game.
Yeah.
Or so, like I said, mom, dad, sister.
Okay.
Oh, no.
All right. It don't
Might as
work
well
like
do it
that.
your way.
My
then.
family's
Right.
way too
You
big
bought
to do
one
that.
gift for like
Right.
3 people.
Right.
My family's too
Guess
big
who
for
it's
that.
from?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like
Guess who it's from? I saw you throw it down.
That don't work.
smooth looking.
It's not
around.
gonna work.
Nah.
I wonder whose this is.
So you went to Texas.
I went to Texas. You know what I'm saying? We flew into Dallas first, hung out with my parents. Then we drove up to Houston, hung out with my wife's parents, and I got sick, which is always terrible. And then I got good again.
Because y'all was out there for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
That's
we were
enough
there
time
for
to
2
get
weeks.
sick and
Yep.
get better and still be out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. First time being home since we've been married. No, second time, but first real time. So.
First holiday being
First
home.
holiday being home since we've been married. So yeah, it's been great.
Yo, you gotta tell him what your dad said. The conversation you had with your dad. The conversation you had with your dad when he was talking about you and your wife.
So this is the first real time of us being home, and the first time we went home while we were dating, my stepdad came to me and was like, "So listen, you know y'all ain't sleeping in the same bed, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I got it." But the look on his face was like, "Oh, so we don't have to have this conversation." Like, I could tell he wanted to go toe to toe with me,
He had something
like back
prepared.
and forth.
Yeah.
Like, no, you ain't. Listen, I'm putting my foot down.
right.
Ain't no shacking up.
Right. He had it all planned out.
Right.
And then after you say this, I'm gonna throw my hands up and I'm gonna leave the room because I'm gonna be done
And he
after
gonna
that.
know who's who.
Right.
I got it. Got
So
it.
he had put time away for that conversation.
Right.
You sitting on the edge of the bed like,
Well, we
he
got about
come
5
over here.
minutes left.
Right. You got
What you want
anything else you want to talk about?
What you want to
What I'm
talk
talking
about?
about now.
Brother, TV show hadn't came on yet.
Shoot, you seen This Is Us?
Right.
What you think about this?
Oh, we could actually sit down as a family. I thought you was gonna go to the back and be upset.
Yeah, I thought you gonna leave and then, just had
in a
a
hotel room or something. I don't know. But yeah. So yeah, that was fun, man. So
Yeah. I was in Jersey for 2 weeks, man. I was in Philly for Christmas.
Did you get sick and then get well too?
I did not. But,
Okay,
and my
great.
parents tried to make sure of it that I did not get sick. And I'm trying to find a way to like tell them like respectfully, I'm an adult. You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
a grown.
Yeah. I'm an adult. Every time I leave the house, where's your coat? Where's your Listen, man, I got this. I'm dressing for how I feel. But shoot, after a while, like you couldn't deny that joint. It was like -1 out there. Straight up.
Oh no!
Straight up. It was -1.
Like Cat Williams said, you got to buy your coat from here
Right.
for here.
Yes. After a certain point, they tried to like make it seem colder than what it was. So they started like doing like Celsius and stuff like that. I'm like, we don't know how to read Celsius.
I wore my Chicago quote when I went back.
Oh, well,
the one that I keep there.
Yeah.
I had
From
to wear
there
that
for
one.
there.
Yeah, from there for there. I wore that one.
Yeah, no, I was there for about 2 weeks, and I think that's an efficient amount of time. I think a week and a half is good. I'm trying to like still gauge like what's a good time, what's a good amount of time to be home to appease your mother, and then enough time to appease your father. Because my dad was like, "No, I ain't trying to kick you out, but when you leaving?" I said, "Oh man, okay." So I'm thinking like a week and a half from now on would be pretty good, for like an ideal trip to
4
Jersey.
days.
Right? I second
4
that.
days?
4 days.
Yeah.
That's
Nah, my
I
parents
want
a
to
little
get in
cooler
and
than
get
that.
out.
Nah, I'll be there and I'll be out with my friends from high school and
Straight
stuff
up.
like that.
Yep.
And one thing I did not want to do, which I was glad about. Well, kind of was glad about it. I only want to go up to New York to go to comedy clubs, and like that's my thing. Whenever I come up there for like Christmas or whatever, I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, we gotta go to the comedy clubs in New York.
Yeah.
But it ain't work out like that. I wasn't going to New York for no other reason. I hate New York.
Dang.
I hate it. I mean it though.
Strong
I'm a
statement.
Jersey boy. So horrible segue, but the Golden Globes, I'm not into segues. I'm not into segues. I'm not about to like. And speaking of, I'm not about to do that to death. We doing a podcast. This is a topical podcast. Y'all know we gonna be talking about random stuff.
Right.
Sometimes we gonna segue well. Sometimes we not. I ain't no more
This has now
security
become the
guard. I ain't
longest
segueing
segue
everywhere.
into the next topic.
What'd you say?
This has now become the longest segue into the next topic.
It's like the anti.
Well, I'm doing it. It's like the anti-segue. I'm fine with that. So I went all the way around. So the Golden Globe.
So the Golden Globes.
Boom.
Speaking of
segue.
going all the way
It's
around,
all the way around. The Globe. Golden Globe. The Golden Globes was when was it? I don't.
Last night.
It was last night.
Last night, yeah.
Y'all sure
Apparently,
y'all wanna-
Oprah had a good speech.
Yeah, what was it about?
I
I
don't
know
know.
she was talking about sexual harassment and stuff, right?
She got the Cecil B. DeMille Award.
Okay.
She got the what?
Go ahead.
Cecil.
Oprah did.
Had
she got
that.
the Cecil
Is
B.
it
DeMille.
Cecil or Cecil?
They called it Cecil on the show.
It's
Okay.
probably Cecil.
It's probably
I'd
Cecil.
probably say Cecil.
Uh-huh. If he was white, it was Cecil. If it was black, he was Cecil.
Probably.
Right.
It was Cecil.
Okay, it was
the
Cecil
first
then.
black
All right.
person to get that award was Sidney Poitier.
Okay,
Oh,
there it is.
There you go.
Cecil. All right, we got it.
All right, so break it down. What happened? What was it about? What was the award? What did the award represent?
I don't know.
What was the award?
Somebody-
What's the award?
Tired. I slept for 3 hours. Okay.
Who knows that? Who knows?
Let us cry.
She's so.
I mean, we got
I feel like
iPhones.
I might be chopping it a little bit, but it's a human achievement, like humanitarian achievement
Okay.
award.
Okay, what
So
she
that's
do to
Oprah.
achieve said award?
She was Oprah.
This is a
Oprah is
podcast.
Oprah.
Okay, she
was Oprah.
just for being Oprah. What did she do
But
this
you know
year?
what? Staying
She breathed.
relevant in media throughout all the years that she's been doing, along with all the work that she does.
I know she does stuff in Africa and stuff like that, and like starts up schools and what have you.
I know why she got that award. You get a car. You get a car.
That
You
was
get
about-
a car. You.
That was about 15 years
So
ago.
the
They finally repaying her for that.
So Google says that it's an award that celebrates the outstanding contributions to the world of entertainment.
I appreciate you
Okay.
looking that up.
So
We love you,
Oprah been
Oprah.
out here entertaining for decades.
Yeah.
She has. She's
So-
been.
She deserves
Oprah.
some awards.
She has
Did
been
Did she say
Oprah
something
for
about running for
decades.
president or something? Because everybody talking about.
She did
No,
not
her speech was
explicitly
super
say it.
great. So everybody's trying to.
Yeah, the host was Seth Meyers, and he made a joke about that because he was talking about how his jokes at the the 2011 press dinner, whatever it was, when Trump was there and he made a joke against Trump, and that people say that kind of sparked him to running for president. And so he said, well, let me make a joke about Oprah. He's like, you will never be good at president, Oprah. It's not for you. You can't do it. And so that was the joke.
Got
And
it.
that-
Got it.
So
Unfortunately,
everybody's
Oprah is
now
leagues
doing-
smarter
thinking that.
than Trump. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
I
reverse
mean,
psychology. Probably.
I'm trying to make it an effort to not talk about Donald Trump for like 3 podcasts. I don't know how. I don't
that
know if
has
we're gonna
been the
be able
trend?
to. I'm not doing it. If y'all want to talk
Right.
about it, I'm so tired of saying.
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Y'all good?
I'm
All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I'm just
guys,
saying,
we're not
he's
talking about
way
Trump for
too
like 3
close
episodes.
for us to talk about him. He's in the city tonight.
He is
Oh,
here
yeah.
tonight.
So they probably got us tapped right now.
Right.
I
Make
know
sure
they
you-
say. I know thank God for the group chat gonna be doing a podcast.
He's gonna call us out on Twitter, call us
Right.
fake news.
I'm like, hey, Donald, if you want to talk about us and give us that
what I'm
publicity,
saying?
you go ahead.
Dude,
Don't let us stop you, man.
let's talk about him all night.
Yes, hashtag Donald Trump. Yes.
They were saying that he said something about
Fake news. We fake news.
Yeah,
Right.
they say he about Atlanta. He said there was like crime written and
Yeah.
all of these things a year ago or so.
So the lady that dropped me
And now
off,
he here today.
yeah, the Uber lady, the lady who Ubered me to my house, she told me today that he said that it was the ghetto of the South or something like that.
Oh, okay. That's what's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, Donald, he a trip.
Wow.
Are you? Wait, don't gasp like you're surprised at
Right.
anything he says anymore. As we continue to talk about
him, right?
him, yeah.
It's hard. It's a sinkhole.
So let's get into. I want to play a small game. Hopefully, this is entertaining.
Wait, we missed one big part about the Golden Globes.
Go ahead.
What was it?
The women, Time's Up movement, where everyone was charged to wear black, in support of like equity and just like solidarity across all industries for like marginalized people. And so a lot of people showed up wearing black, and there was a lot of controversy around that though. Actually,
Wait, is it black tie? Is that a black tie event?
I mean, it's black tie, but you don't have to wear black to a black tie event. You just wear
It's
like
black
a,
tie.
No,
I mean, the
no.
men.
I thought it meant like
usually
black
wear
tie means
men
like
anyway.
tuxedo and all
I mean,
that.
yeah,
shit.
the men, but that wasn't really the.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
it was
yeah.
started by like America Ferrera, and
So the women wore black.
yeah, like
That
the
was the
initial
thing.
charge was for women to wear black, and then men started joining in. But I was like, that don't matter. Like y'all wear black
I
anyways.
mean, if they put on a black
Right.
shirt
That's
with a
right.
black
Don't
tie,
matter.
then it turns into
Yeah.
They
Nah,
should
you
have
just
wear white.
stylish.
right.
You just
Exactly.
stylish.
so it's definitely
Ish.
for more so for the women to wear all black. But there was a lot of debate around if it was an effective strategy or not, because some people were like, why don't y'all just like not show up? But then I feel like Kerry Washington made a good point. She was like, us not
always
showing
talking.
up.
Go ahead. What'd she say? What'd she say now?
She said, well,
He's in
them
a
not
scandal.
showing up. I don't like you guys.
Kerry Washington
Anyways,
always
Kerry
talking,
was talking
in
about
some type of
how
scandal.
by them not showing up, like why should they as women not show up and like lose, like basically give up their voice or their opportunity to like be seen and be recognized because of the bad behavior of like white men in Hollywood. And I agree with that person because I was on the fence about like if I thought it mattered or not, but I was just kind of like, I mean, sitting at home, like the show's still gonna go on,
Right,
like
yeah.
y'all not gonna be seen, and with the way things move so quickly, it would be forgotten. So I'm
Right.
like, I'd rather be able to have pictures of like Tracy Ellis Ross and like Viola Davis and America Ferrera and Kerry Washington like circulating for like years to come of them
Yeah.
wearing all black, and like there be something to represent like what I consider like the beginning of a greater movement.
I feel like any movement like that, like I feel like it's changed from not doing anything and not saying something, and that being the
norm.
not the norm, but the way to get some attention, or the way to get attention. And now social media is so huge to where like you saying something or doing something for every small thing gets attention for the the greater cause. So yeah, I feel like it's a great idea for everybody to just do it.
I don't know. I tend to be silent on things that I don't have a personal stake in.
Yeah.
You know? So
Fair.
I don't really completely understand. No, I completely understand. That's not the right words. I want to say that I don't understand the severity of it. I don't know how deep it goes. I know there's a lot, and I believe everything I've heard, but I just can't, because there's always a disconnect when somebody talks about their personal struggle and you haven't lived that. Like, as a woman, like, I don't know what that is like.
Yeah.
Systemically for women, because obviously there was, like, the women's rights first, and then like this, then different stages of that, and then now there's this. So that's always interesting. So I tend to just, like, be quiet and listen. Do you have something? I know you want to say something.
I was just going to. You said it right there at the end, that the one thing men can do during this time when women are speaking up is to listen, is to understand, and is to believe, not to question the legitimacy just because it isn't a conversation that's been had for a long time. Is there something you want to say?
What?
Come on.
I don't want to be this person, man.
Say something.
I don't want to be this person,
Come on,
man.
devil's
Go ahead,
advocate.
it's safe space, but we can't protect you from the internet.
I
trolls.
know.
We waiting.
Okay. I'm going to have a hard time just believing people. You know what I mean? Like, just, I know that's the thing. They're like, we stand by, because I was listening to a recap of the Golden Globes, and they was like, we stand by you, we're ready to believe you, and this, that, and third. It's like, I'm not just ready to believe nobody about anything. You know what I mean? Like, so I hope justice is served for this type of stuff and all of that. But personally, I know it's horrible. I know, but I'm not.
It's all good, bro. Because you're not in a position of that much power anyway.
Why would you do this?
Why would you do this to me, man?
I don't understand where that came.
I'm just gonna instigate that whole situation.
I'm gonna just disregard it.
I understand what you're saying.
Because
I understand what you're saying, but here's the thing.
I don't get it. I don't understand what me being in power has to do with anything.
There's two. Okay, explain.
No, what I'm saying
I
is,
don't know if you need to explain it.
what's important is that the men who have the power to either go after a woman for speaking up or advocating for a woman for speaking up, those are the people that we need to listen. So while you're on the fence and figuring out,
I'm not
how
on
you
the
feel,
fence. I'm not just about to believe nobody just because they say so. Period. Like, I'm not.
But like, what would it take for you to believe someone?
I mean, like, I'm not about to disbelieve either. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm ready. I'm here to listen for sure. I'm here to listen, and I'm here to, like, I'm like, okay, this and that happened. Okay, what makes you believe? What makes this true?
You
know
want
what I'm
them
saying?
to prove their case.
Yeah, prove your case, but I'm not ready to be like, you lying either. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm not. So she's a woman. She said this happened. It happened. I'm not about to do that.
So in this particular situation, what do you mean? You're not, like, with what we're talking about right now?
Yeah, because I think in relation to, like, I get what you're saying, but I think in relation to, like, what all of this has been built around, it's because, like, women have been coming out in droves with allegations against, like, the same men. Like, it's been like, this man now has 10 allegations against him. This man now has 50. And so I think that's when, like, when you make that point in relation to this,
I don't know.
you do sound a little crazy.
I know.
But,
well, I mean,
No, I understand what he's saying, because there's two things that.
So,
and this is why I'm quiet usually.
Okay.
Because
I can't be quiet.
because I'm like, okay, prove it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm always quiet, so I'm listening. And I'm gonna let it, the facts roll out as they are. But I'm also, in addition to me supporting women in, in what they say, and their movement, right? I'm also a large proponent of men and men's rights, because men have rights too, and men's rights get trampled on, by women sometimes, especially when it comes to, like, children and stuff.
So now that
there's two sides of it.
Right, there is.
Yeah.
Just like, and I'm gonna go back a little bit. But just like if we're talking about, I hate to say his name again, but Donald Trump and how he was, how people came out about him, Bill Cosby, how people came out about him, but then we go to Usher and how people came out about him.
Right.
Like, that's a totally different situation. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he did this, he forced himself on me, and he gave me an STD. And then we find out Usher's quiet about it. He's quiet about everything. He never said anything. He got off social media for a while, and then come to find out the girl is lying and he doesn't have any STDs at all. You know what I'm saying? So like that's why that's how and where I can understand where Keith is coming from. In that, man, I can't just not on everything just believe what you say when it comes to these things, because that Usher could have been in a whole bunch of trouble. He could have lost all his money, any endorsement he may have, all of that stuff. I mean, he saw what happened to Chris Brown. He saw what has happened to, I mean, R. Kelly, low key, you just nasty.
Well,
Come
they
on
were
now.
guilty. Like, and I think, so I completely get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do. And that's not to say like you should just believe everybody off rip, because there have been plenty of cases where like you do find out like the woman has been lying. But my issue is I don't like when trying to talk about, you know, sexual allegations and sexual harassment. I don't like when it's instantly followed up with well, what about this specific case where it was like the woman was lying? Because for me, and I feel like a lot of other women, it almost feels like it's an attempt to diminish the fact that there are actually so many women, like every single woman goes through sexual harassment at some point. And so when you bring out like those still very valid situations where it does turn out that, you know, nothing actually happened, but it's like, but that shouldn't take away from, it shouldn't be used as a way to take away from the greater issue that still is like women not being treated fairly. There's no equity really between men and women. Yeah. And then also to your point, Jonathan, when you were saying like, you know, how men's rights get trampled on. Not to say that men's rights don't matter.
It's not near as much as women do.
Like All Lives Matter statement.
Oh no, it's not. I'm just I believe strongly in that. Like that's just something I believe in. You know, because I see where men have struggled, not in the same way that women do. I feel like the ways that women struggle are a lot more impactful to everyday life than the way men struggle,
especially black women. But
but I think the ways that men struggle is important to me because I'm a man, right?
Fair.
And so I say, you know, when I look at stuff like that happen in the media, I'm like, okay, that's cool. I don't understand what's going on, but I support, you know, what they're saying. But also I recognize I need to be quiet because I also recognize that stuff like that happens with Usher on occasion, or you know, and then in the other things that, you know, I feel like are important for men, like, you know, men are like and I don't want to use this as like a platform to talk about men, because it's like mansplaining what really about men. You need to understand that right. But like, you know, men are like, you know, more likely to have suicide, far more likely to have suicide than women are, right? And so like that's an important thing for me to know. Suicide. You know, to commit suicide.
So I think, yeah, I'm willing to support, but it's with so many things, with how I've seen things happen, with one of my friends who was messing around with a girl and her dad caught them and he's in jail, has been in jail since we were in high school. Right. This was over 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. And we know he didn't rape this girl. We know he didn't do, you know what I'm saying? Right. So like when you have situations like that and you know these things have happened and it's like, dang, like you really, for a woman who has been sexually harassed, you really like this really bothers you. I support you. I'm behind you in this. I'm not saying, oh, you got to prove.
Right.
You got to show me.
Right.
what he did, how he did it. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like,
right.
where are the scars? Like, no, I'm willing to support you and how, like,
Exactly.
in moving forward from it. Hey, what do we do with counseling? How do we help you with that? Whatever and whatever. And if this is something that needs to come out, then hey, I'll support you in that too. But it's like, man, when
Like
I see
I'm ready to believe you.
Yeah.
I want, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if this happened, it happened,
Right.
and we're going to deal with it accordingly.
Right.
But I'm not. What I'm saying is, and I feel like you trying to help me out. I appreciate it. Like what I'm saying. Like I'm not about to be like, oh well, she said it. That's it. And like every man that has been accused of something like that gotta go to jail. Something gotta happen to him. I'm
Right.
like, because I'm a big conspiracy theorist, man. And I've seen people be conspired against.
Yes.
I've had friends that have gone down for some stuff that they did not do,
Yep.
and just went to jail just because they didn't have good representation and stuff
Yep.
like that, and spent three years in jail and got turned out for some stuff that they didn't do.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm on. There has to be a balance. There has to be a balance of innocent until proven guilty on both sides.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, I want to talk about the Golden Globes, but
No,
she picked up. This is heavy.
No,
Go ahead.
It really is. I absolutely agree, but I think the part that we have to recognize is that there's a cultural shift of now these white women who are saying we matter, right?
Yeah.
And the world is listening, and we, as black women and other minority women, get to hang on that shirt tail a little bit. I mean, so Oprah brought up all the other industries as far as domestic workers, factory workers, people who still honestly don't have voices or being shut out. There was a New York Times special on a woman that was paid to stay quiet about a bunch of allegations, and her dream job was taken away, working for Ford in Chicago on the South Side. And so there's all these different situations where women, they just want you to sit down and be quiet, don't talk about it. And so the fact that there's actually something that's being done as far as people getting fired, white males being fired for what they're doing to white females, can hopefully usher in more justice for minorities in other cases when it comes to due process.
I'm down with all of that. Yeah,
It takes time.
I'm not. What are you saying? I'm not saying that. I'm opposed to any of that. I'm saying if it happened, yes. Like let's get them out of there. But yeah, that's all I'm saying. I don't. This is a deep rabbit hole. I'm glad we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to talk about
Yeah,
it. And the nominees are. I'm not.
Yeah, not.
Yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate what's happening in America right now. In this vein.
Yeah, I think
I do.
that ultimately though, I think we need to have like as a society, we need to have a more restorative approach to these kind of issues in general, especially when it comes to like sexual abuse and sexuality and stuff like that, because it starts very early. It starts very, very early.
Mm-hmm.
Like I work in education, and I can tell you kindergartners have had issues even with peers, with adults, and it's people don't realize that it's not just something that adults go through, right?
Yeah.
And we need to have like a restorative, and we can't be afraid of like talking to each other or even children about protecting themselves and being aware, and like that's not right to do. This is so I hope all of these protests like moves into a more restorative way than like persecuting. Yeah.
Right. Boom. We good?
Hey.
Awesome. I was going to like run down the list of all like the nominees and stuff, and yeah, that's a lot. We're not going to do that. Let's talk about this. What?
Go ahead.
Let's talk about this. Get Out got nominated as best motion picture for a musical or comedy.
I haven't seen
Thoughts,
Listen.
questions, concerns.
Listen,
There was nothing comedic about that movie.
that's so disrespectful.
I mean, Lil Rel was pretty funny in that movie.
He was.
Yes.
That doesn't
That's my
justify
dude.
that.
I
think
am
because
TS.
It's not a comedy though, that's for sure.
No, it's
Go ahead.
not.
You were saying.
I think the fact that like people heard murmurings on like Black Twitter about us like laughing in the movie theater, and it's like we weren't laughing because it was actually funny. We were laughing because it's like, true, it's real life. Like, and we're like, yo, this is wild because it's real,
right?
But even Jordan Peele said like. He was like, "Yo, like this isn't the comedy.
No,
like,
this is not a joke.
But
it's not a game.
It's a documentary. Like,
well, I mean, it's up to him if he wanted it to be nominated for something. He wasn't tripped, but he also wasn't tripping that it was nominated for a musical or comedy. He was like, I'm just happy it's nominated for something.
Yeah.
Do you feel like
did it win?
No.
No.
Okay. Do you feel, who won?
Some white man.
Lord Jesus. Lady Bird won. Lady Bird.
Okay.
Lady Bird. Some white man. You're like, you're gonna always be right when you say that.
Right.
Apply all. Yeah. Yeah, he was saying he was just happy that it got noticed and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But do you think they put it there like as some form of shade or anything like that, or they're just like, we don't know how to categorize this, so we just gonna put this here? Jordan Peele, that's his name,
funny.
right? He's funny. Lil Rel is a comedian. Let's put it here.
That may have been so.
Cause it's not. It was hard to classify. It is.
I don't see how it is though.
What is it? What are you calling this?
I would put it in drama.
It's a drama. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You think it? Let's go to the dramas. Continue to talk.
so.
Continue to speak.
Right.
Continue to speak.
Is there a comedic drama award?
That's what I'm about to look up right now.
Dramedy.
Is the term.
But
is
that
there
would
one?
still be a
Is the
that would
scientific
still
term
be a
dramedy?
comedy. It's
It's
drama and comedy.
It's a melding together of drama and comedy.
But is there
it's
an
not
award
solely
for that?
comedy.
There's no
but
dramedy award.
I would put Get Out more as a drama, but
Right.
would
I
put
mean,
it
there
as
were a couple
comedy.
funny
Yeah.
moments, but it's not like, oh yeah,
Like
this
people
is
getting auctioned off in the back. Like that's not
right.
funny.
That's not funny.
Yeah, we were chuckling because again, we were like, "This is
Right.
I didn't watch the movie, but I was under the impression it was a horror movie.
Yeah, that's how
You
it was
haven't seen it yet?
advertised. That's how it was
Oh,
advertised.
brother, go see it.
I know I was going to.
Yeah.
But you know, horror movies don't get recognized and stuff like this. They
Right.
don't.
Yeah, it wasn't a horror movie. For black folks, it's a horror movie
Like, it's
of
real
life.
Yeah.
But it was not a horror movie. It was a drama with funny moments. Like I'm pretty like there definitely is Pirates of the Caribbean. Is that a drama or is that a comedy?
It would be more of a comedy. Josh was saying,
an
joke,
action
but,
comedy.
but it's definitely more of a comedy.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Don't talk to him. He doesn't have a mic. Don't talk to him.
Action comedy.
Is Bad Boys a drama or a comedy?
That's a dramedy.
Bad Boys is a comedy. It's an action
It's
comedy.
An action
He's still talking
Is
without
there
the mic.
comedy.
Is there okay? What are the what are
Right.
the drama and comedy related categories?
No, what are the what are the categories that they would like that they name off as awards?
What are you talking about?
No, so
Drama.
what are the categories?
Drama. Here's I'll
Okay,
just
go for
tell
it.
you the drama nominees. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Call Me by Your Name. These are a couple movies that I don't know. Dunkirk. Post,
Dunkirk was a drama. Yep.
The Post. The Shape of Water.
That's a horror
Yeah.
slash drama.
All right.
Okay.
Now let's go to musical or comedies. Best motion picture. Lady Bird. Never heard of it.
Nope.
I Tanya.
Okay.
The Disaster Artist. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Get Out. And The Greatest Showman.
Wait, I Tanya was really a musical.
That joint
or
ain't even
comedy?
come out yet.
I didn't think that was out.
Nor did I think it was a comedy.
We cannot hear you, Joshua. Like, we
It
can't.
talks about the story of Tanya Harding having some hitman bust a girl's kneecaps. Like
Yeah, it's a real story.
it's
Except-
yeah, and I'm like, there's
Right.
nothing comedic about that. Though.
Right.
But they made it into like a.
Did
like
they?
I'm pretty sure. If you've watched the trailer,
I
that's
need to-
kind of what they did.
I did watch this
Because they
trailer.
told it from the perspective of the girl whose
Kneecaps
bodyguard,
got-
whose bodyguard actually went to hit the other girl.
I'm just going through my head of maybe I'm tripping. I don't know a lot about movies and stuff, but I'm just going through my head of what I see on Netflix as drama. You know what I'm saying?
That's how this is set up.
But,
Right,
What
that's
I'm
what I'm
looking
saying.
at.
But for real, the way that they do these categories, they just try to get the most popular movie in some category.
Wait, but hold on.
and they don't really.
I've never heard of like 3 of these.
Most of those I've never heard of.
A lot of the ones who win you don't hear about because they're usually like
Right.
limited releases and you know.
Was Lady Bird a limited release?
I think so.
Gotta
Okay,
be.
because I was like, I'm never.
I don't see that on the ads on YouTube.
Bet you Bright wasn't it?
on the ads on
Sorry.
YouTube.
Bright just came out. It's not
I
about
know.
to be nominated. we gonna get
Won't
into
be.
Bright. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Um,
Speaking of, no, just
it's coming
That
up
actually
next.
is a great segue.
Any other thoughts on the Golden Globes?
I was just gonna say what Daniel, the main actor who was also nominated out of Get Out, what he had said on the red carpet was the fact that a year later, because yesterday marked a year since it's come out, that the fact that it's still in the conversation is
Right.
something
That's
to be
great.
celebrated.
right.
Like,
Nah.
whether he wins or not.
Nah, because this is. I mean, you made it within the time for it to be spoken about. I mean, I can't give too much credence to that. If you make a good movie, you make a good movie, and I feel that. I feel that about black actors and actresses, thespians. Like, it's important to talk about it. It's important to talk about us being in Hollywood and how much we move the culture along in that regard. But it's also like, man, the more we, it's like a duality to it, because like I feel like the more we also talk about it, the more we separate ourselves from it as well sometimes. You know what I mean? So like him saying like, oh yeah, I'm just glad that we got nominated. It's like, you should be
Right.
Like I mean, like you made a great piece of art. You know what I mean? Like, so what? Don't try to
Don't minimize.
Diminish.
There it is. Yeah, don't be like,
Yeah,
oh, we just glad to be here.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no.
No.
But I feel like
Jerry
that's a
West
deeper
not happy to be in the
conversation,
end zone, huh?
I almost feel like we're not gonna get into it because that would just be another rabbit hole, and I've already opened up one of those tonight. But I feel like that's just a psychological thing as well.
What?
Just like with black people, like
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Not, let me
Oh, we can go there.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
The mentality.
I'm
the
ready to go.
mentality
Just say it.
of,
Just make a
like,
statement. I think
victim.
we'll all agree. Go
But
ahead.
like black people
That
just
victim
feeling
mentality.
like, yeah, it's just like us just being happy to be in. It's like, no, like you deserve to be in
Right.
the room. Like you
Yeah.
made something just as good, if not better. Most
Right.
times it is better,
Right.
than the other things that are out here. It's
Yep.
just like, no, like own your spot. Like
Yeah.
you aren't like. You deserve all the things.
You deserve it.
Praise.
Come on, somebody.
And so that's the thing. Like it almost like hurts my heart to hear him.
Shout out to JJ Harrison.
Like I get why he's like, but like he was saying, like you should be happy. I'm gonna just keep talking. Like let them do whatever.
I'm here.
Go for
I'm
it.
here.
Go for
I'm
it.
here.
Basically, I'm talking to Keela and Jonathan at this
I'm
point. I don't know
here.
what
Yeah,
else
well, I'm
to
sorry.
do.
Go for it.
Anyways, but it almost like when you were saying like recounting like what he said, it almost made me sad because I was like,
Yeah, that made me
he's
sad
just
too.
happy to be part of the.
Right.
I'm like, no, bro.
I love how
happy to be here.
I love how Victoria be agreeing with me,
Right.
but she don't say she agrees. She just start a whole new conversation, like elaborating on what I said. You did. I just be thinking that you about to disagree. I'm like, she said what I said.
Because I just like expounding upon things.
I appreciate you.
But that was my point. Bye.
But yeah, when he said it, what you all are talking about is absolutely an issue, and I could jump down that rabbit hole with you. But the way that he was saying it was
Jump
for
on
them
it.
to only have 5 in the category, and an entire year go by, and that movie remain in the spot that it was in, was impressive to him.
It's not, but I know it's impressive
Yeah,
to
yeah.
him. It's not impressive
Right.
because you have a year. Like it's in a year. I could see if it was like, man, 2 years removed and we still in the conversation.
Right.
Like, no, your movie was made that year
Yeah.
for it to be in the conversation. That's like Beyonce making a movie, making an album at the top of the year, and then she's like, man, y'all still talking about it a whole year later. It's like, yeah, because like it's within this year. I got nominated. I made this album in February. Y'all still talk about it?
Yeah.
But I think I get what you're saying, but I think that speaks more to the way that the these award shows work because they generally speaking, if you have a movie that comes out in the beginning of the year, they will not remember it by the end of the year to even nominate it. Logan was not up there for real, and that was a really good movie. Crazy good movie. I love that movie.
Well, and also
That was the best movie you ever seen this year.
now that you bring that up,
But
I do agree. The way Netflix and iTunes and everything has made it so easy, and the Firestick and all this stuff has made it so easy for everybody to see all these movies.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Go ahead.
Like it is kind of a big thing for somebody to remember your movie for a year.
Right.
I mean, even
No.
yes and no.
I mean, it's all rigged. But
I'm just saying, no, y'all don't have to stop when I say that.
yeah.
I don't think he should have
Please
said
don't
that.
stop.
I
Right, I don't think he should have
the
said
wrong
that,
thing.
but it is a big
I would
thing.
not have said
on my
that.
own stuff.
Like for Chris Brown to keep talking about his album still being played and climbing up to platinum and stuff like that, you the only one out here as big as you that's gonna do that. Great. But for this guy to put out his first movie and for it to still be talked about and running alongside other movies,
What
for
are they
it to
running
still be
alongside?
talked about?
Let's see.
And this guy having
Bird.
his first big
Look at who they're up against. Lady Bird. Has anyone quick poll? Have y'all heard? Except for Joshua, who's not on the podcast. Who has anybody heard of the Lady Bird?
I've heard
So
of it.
Jonathan said he heard of it.
I heard the name.
Tanya, I didn't know anything about this movie until yesterday.
I heard about it when I went to go see Jumanji.
follow
the,
critics, though.
the disaster artist.
Yeah, I follow critics though, so I've heard
Get Out.
most of these movies.
You don't hear about these more than you didn't hear about these.
but
more
I
than you heard about Get Out.
no, I only hear about them because I follow a critic. Like,
Right.
if I were not into like watching that kind of stuff on like YouTube and stuff, I would not have heard of
Right.
a lot of these movies.
Right.
We should have had Zach here.
Next time. No, Zach is Zach. I love Zach. Okay.
So speaking of,
I like it. You were on your way, man. Go ahead.
I don't know where we going next.
We talking about Bright. I want to talk about Bright.
Speaking of Bright,
Do it. You talking about? You had it. It was right
Speaking
there.
of
Speaking of
Netflix.
talking about fire sticks and all that stuff.
So I think it was a smart move. I think Bright was. I wasn't a huge fan of the movie.
What is Bright?
The Will Smith movie.
Tell me about it.
The Will
'Cause
Smith
I know very
Netflix
little.
movie.
I mean, I
So-
know, but
I haven't seen it.
explain
So
it for the people.
it's a world where humans, orcs, and elves and fairies
And minotaurs and centaurs were in there. I saw it twice.
and dragons.
There might have been a
Like
dragon in there, like
Chronicles
so. They had a
Yes.
they had a view of the skyline, and
And
there
a
was a dragon flying.
Yeah. So all these
it's
things.
this alternate universe.
It's the Chronicles of It's Narnia.
That's what I said. That's what I said
Narnia.
on my story.
Okay.
I missed the
So
poem.
I haven't seen Chronicles of Narnia. I know. Stone me. Sorry.
You're not a Christian if you haven't seen the Chronicles of Narnia.
I have not seen it. But yeah, and they were all in Los Angeles.
Yes.
So it wasn't a different world.
No. Obviously, it is a different world.
No, it was our world with more people in it.
No. Did you see Bright?
Yes.
It's not our world. This is Do you see orcs walking around policing
The
people?
expressway had the elf land coming off of the
Okay.
the five, man.
Right. So
I know what y'all saying, but go ahead.
okay. So it was,
An
but was not
alternate
our
universe.
world.
Yes.
But it was
And
in
all-
Los
That's what I
Angeles.
said. That's what
Yes,
I
but it was in
originally
Los
said. It's an
Angeles.
alternate
Is it an
universe.
alternate universe?
Okay,
Yes.
cool. It's an alternate universe.
Are we debating whether
It's not.
orcs
No,
and
we
stuff are
moved
real
on.
right now?
We
Is that what
moved
we
on.
doing?
We
Nah,
moved
I'm
on.
just saying, but is it just in the future? What?
I don't know. I might have seen
It's
some
not
orcs
in the
before.
future.
And some elves.
I don't care.
It's not in the
I
future.
don't care about
I don't live in LA. I don't know.
coming off the five.
They're coming off the
Elf
five.
We evolved.
I don't get it.
So anyway, there was an orc who was a police officer, and all of the orcs did not appreciate the fact that this orc was a police officer.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people who are tying orcs to black people and
Why gotta be
minorities and
Latino
tying elves
specifically.
to white people.
I need to chime in.
Yeah.
I'm not rolling with that.
I'm not either.
Because I've seen a lot of people saying that, like, the orcs are black people and the elves are Jewish people. I'm not rolling. I'm not rolling
with it.
Here's why. Here's what I think. Partially, what I think the movie is trying to. First of all, I saw a whole lot of Christian undertones in this movie.
Okay,
but that's probably because I'm a Christian.
Mm-hmm. Come on,
but
that boy saw Neo and he was the one.
Bro, I saw
Trinity.
I'm like, what is this one?
Come on.
Okay.
So what is this one?
So, is it the Bible? Is the Holy Bible? No, but for real. I mean, no, that was for real. But but all right, from an earthly standpoint, was it the Bible? From a natural standpoint,
come on, somebody.
In the natural, I believe that the elves and the orcs just simply represented the sheer fact that there will always be racial tension, and all this whatever tension you want to name. No matter who is what.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're always going to have that. But let me go back to my Christian undertone theory.
Come on, somebody.
They started talking about there was a war that began over 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, yes. Yep. I saw that and tied that together too. Come on, somebody tied it together.
And then like the war started then, and but then, and I think that was like the extent. I was like, I'm gonna dig deep into this.
Yeah.
Why is 2,000 years so? It's like social status and racial tension will always be a part of it. And here's what made me think it's not about black and white people and all of that type of stuff, because the Mexican dude hopped out and the dude was like, they think all orcs are bad people, and he was like, don't look at me, they're still mad at us for the Alamo.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so this isn't a black and white thing. This is just this is how we view people. This is how we view people that are different from us. Period. Yeah. So continue. You were talking.
Nah, I mean, I was just explaining what the movie was, and
y'all didn't enjoy it. Why not?
No, it was great. The movie was great.
He didn't like it.
I wasn't the biggest fan of it.
I'd like to know objectively what you did not like about it in points, please.
In points.
Are you about
I want to respond.
You about to do? Are you about to spoil certain things? Oh, here's another thing for why I think it might have been like it was definitely some Christian undertones. So all of these different races, anybody. So it's 1 in a million, but they all could be brights. So, and also the word bright struck a chord with me because, we being the light of the world and all that stuff.
Come on, somebody.
But they had and only certain people could touch this thing like without blowing up and all of that type of stuff. Right. So, but it was like somebody like I'm not trying to get a movie away, but certain humans were brights, elves were brights, orcs were brights. Yep. You know what I mean? So yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it was just small things that bothered me.
Okay.
It was just small things that bothered me. Like I like for things to tie in, or at least at some point tell me how and why it tied in. And him walking outside swatting a fairy away was kind of like, where did this tie in? You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that just bothers me.
Yeah, because they literally like they literally was like they threw you into this world like here it is, figure it out, right? Because we're not about to explain this fairy thing. All right, Joshua, taking the mic. Finally about to say something on the mic, my man. He don't want to be on this podcast, by the way.
I don't. But I severely dislike this movie. So I just had to jump on here. Like I really, and obviously I'm not the only one. A lot of people on the internet is raving about it, but that was one reason. And I told myself I'm going to give it another shot. I haven't because I was slightly intoxicated when I watched the movie. Okay. So I can't remember everything, but I know when I was watching it, I hated it, and that's big for me because I give the worst movies a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Why is it a dragon in there?
But one of my biggest things was like Jared said, like, did they ever explain how the world became like it was?
Nice.
Right.
They did. It's right in front of both of your faces, and everybody. This is Netflix.
No,
they
no,
make
this is a
money
movie.
off of series. If they can put out a movie that gives all these questions, all they have to do is drop a 12, 13
No, but this is a
episode-
fantasy film. This is literally, they created a fantasy film, and in a fantasy film, it's a different world. And when it's a different world, you in the pilot movie, you have to explain the different world. You don't watch a Star Wars and, well, not a Star Wars, but like a
Star
Lord
Wars
of the
did
Rings.
go backwards.
No, yeah, well, they all in the first movie, they don't give you a whole bunch of action. Typically, they usually set the story up. So this movie, since they're trying to do a sequel, they should have set this movie up to explain the next movie. You know what I'm saying?
Or the next series.
Oh,
now, unless this is like a Saw movie series situation, then they got me.
Saw explains itself in every movie, but the first movie really explains itself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Part of the intrigue for me. Hold on. Part of the intrigue for me was that they didn't. I don't like stuff spoon fed to me all the time. I don't. So that was part of the thing that I liked about it, was that I was like, oh man, what's going on? And I got to figure it out throughout, kind of what's going on. So they're letting you know what's going on throughout the movie. They were like, orcs have been fighting with this and that for 2,000 years. That, like, I didn't pick that up out of nowhere. Like, they literally said this in the dialogue.
Yeah.
So hold on, I got one more point. Joshua grabbed the. Give me the mic. I don't like what he's saying right now. Give me the mic right now. Well, go ahead. I don't know what I'm about to say now.
I just didn't fall in love with the characters, and that's one thing for me when I watch movies.
That is very important to movies. That's what they teach you in school, like when you trying to do film and stuff, when you screenwriting and stuff. You gotta fall in love. Am I right, Jonathan? You gotta fall in love. How do you fall in love with the main character? I fell in love, but you know what they probably were hanging their hat on? It's Will Smith. You already love him.
Yeah,
I already love him.
That's why I was so excited to watch the movie, because I am a big Will Smith fan, and so I was expecting it to be a little bit better than
Right, and that's why everybody wanted to watch it, because it's Will Smith. It's definitely gonna be great. But I saw it and was like,
but he wasn't
this
a typical
isn't
Will
great.
Smith,
Right?
in my
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
So
Heck, yes, he was. He was. Y'all gotta watch it again. I watched it twice.
Bro,
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Again. He was classic Will Smith in this movie with the classic one-liners when you know, like, he's going off script and just saying random things, and also, like, he felt like an unlikable Mike Lowry from Bad Boys. You know how you like Mike Lowry in Bad Boys? It's like, dag, I don't like him because he a jerk to his partner. You know what I mean? I'm trying to like him because I
actually liked him for that.
You liked him for that?
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, he making it hard for me to like him right now, until a certain part of the movie. He was Mike Lowry that didn't like his partner. That's how I felt. There
were parts that he made me believe him in some parts, like
classic Will Smith.
Yeah, there were parts, but I don't know. It was just certain things. I'm just like, at least make me understand why I see a random dragon. I get it. We're in another world.
So I think it's the build up, because they're doing a trilogy. It's a trilogy. I think they actually have books on this. Like,
I didn't know.
This is a book.
It's ingenious in my creatively speaking, as a writer, having this much passion about it.
Hold the mic.
If there's any type of comeback, you're gonna be too curious to pass it up, and I think for that they did a good job.
Y'all watching the second one?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
when
haven't
the
seen
second
it, but
one
I
come
think
out.
that this is my take from the trailers. I'm gonna comment on the trailers.
Okay, go for it. Go ahead.
So the world is basically you in LA and it's a cop movie, but they put all this fantasy elements in it because I saw the trailer. I watched it.
Yeah.
And so my problem with the trailer, is that I'm not a fan of movies that I don't like racial allegory. I really don't. I really don't like it because here's why I don't like it, because I feel like it's a little hackneyed because people do it all the time.
I love your word choice.
And I'm just not interested in seeing more stuff talking about race. We get race is an issue. We get that it's a problem. You know, there's differences between us. Blah blah blah. I get it. I want to hear about that.
As a person who just saw the trailer, it's really not about racial tension. It's just, I think it's like, this is what it's always going to be. Nice aside. You know what I mean? That's not what the movie is about. It's not about racial tension.
If anything, it's about understanding people for who they are, no matter how different they look from you, because everything is about looks. But there's socioeconomic class differences, there's demographic stuff, and
that's in every movie though. I said that's in every movie.
Right.
Well,
that's in life. So we just gonna talk about it.
I guess they're showing that we as beings will come together when there's other things. So among the people, there's Asian woman that's like the chief police, Hispanic sergeant, and then he's married to a white woman. All these people are just all connected. But then because these people are different,
and they came together because they didn't like the other people.
Right, they came together over a shared disinterest in a different group.
That's good.
I understand what you're saying, but I feel like you're talking about the movie. I'm talking about the trailer right now. But I take your point.
Too deep.
I take
Talk
your
about
point.
the movie that you watched.
I take your point. I watched, because I watched these critics.
You too deep.
And
Talk about the movie.
The trailer watch.
We're definitely talking
I
about
watched
the
the
trailer.
critic. One of the
I mean, I think it was
One of the
real good for them to
criticisms-
tie together Blade and Chronicles
It was
of
definitely.
Narnia.
It was like I
And-
said. It was definitely Bad Boys 2, Men in Black, and Chronicles of Narnia.
and Blade.
Where you getting Blade
Daywalkers.
from? Where you getting Blade from?
Daywalker.
so one of the criticisms.
I saw all three of them Blade trilogies. So first of all, anything with a trilogy, I'm going to automatically think that it's got some
I
Christian
didn't know that
undertone
this
to
was.
it.
I didn't know
Always.
this was a trilogy.
It's a trilogy. It's going to be a
Okay,
trilogy.
well I'll watch
Everything's
it.
gonna be a
I'm gonna go
trilogy
watch it again
nowadays.
tonight.
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna watch the second.
Everything's a trilogy.
It ain't out. You're going to have to wait like 2 years.
God dog it.
But one of the criticisms that I heard when I was listening to a review of the film was that was about the
They gonna drop the next one on the Fire Stick this time.
Oh, you going to have to get this now. We off that Netflix.
That's old.
That's all.
It was 1999 and 2000.
Just keep
they
talking through
criticized.
that.
Okay, go.
I am. They criticized the. I think they criticized the fact that, like what you're saying about the dragon and the fairy, and how that didn't, they didn't really explain that. Personally, I feel like that's more poor writing than setting, just because you can't drop somebody into a world and expect
That boy
them
said,
to
"Oh,
figure
we just gonna pay
everything out."
$200 to get them killed like the bees."
To
I'm
me?
like, is it a bee?
Bro,
is
I'm
it
pretty.
an insect? or-
First, y'all know they about to explain. Y'all know they gonna explain this in the second and third one.
Well, see,
Wait
but
and
this
see.
is-
But
Wait
that's the
and
interesting
see.
thing, though. Like, we are consuming movies as if there's going to be other things coming after them. I want to consume a movie as like this is a self-contained.
This is a
thing that I'm
standalone.
going
So
to
check me out.
enjoy.
It's
But everyone,
not. This is definitely a trilogy.
But that's
so I'm
the
like, I'm
thing.
not about. I don't want to be spoon
That's the
fed.
problem.
Okay, tell me what's
That's the
going
problem.
on.
So
I'm
check
like,
me
ooh,
out.
a dragon. I wonder if they're going to
you
explain
thinking
that.
about these movies as if there's going to be more. This could be the only movie.
It's not.
And it
It's
should.
not.
Every
But wait.
film, if it's written well, should
So-
be a self-contained thing. You shouldn't have
I don't
all these
believe-
I got a quick
questions about-
question.
yeah,
I got one
good
question.
I don't
film.
believe it
How
Any
do we
good
know?
trilogy.
How do we know that this is gonna be a trilogy?
because they said it's going to be a trilogy. It's a trilogy.
When they say that,
So is this a movie? I mean, was it
Before or
a
after you
book?
saw
Was
it?
it what?
Huh?
Was it a book?
I think it's a book.
it's
I'ma
a
look
comic.
It up.
It's
Okay.
a comic.
It's a comic.
Yeah,
All right.
It's a what?
it's a comic.
So Bright is a comic.
Yeah.
Okay, so for people that know that, then cool. But I'm going back to I'm going back to a movie that I love, Saw. When I saw the very first one,
You and Joshua are best
Right.
friends in there.
when I saw the very
I gotta
first
watch
one,
movies together.
I was like, "Oh, I'm satisfied." Oh, there's a second one?
Right.
I saw the second one, I'm satisfied. I saw the third one, I'm satisfied.
Nope.
And if there was no more after the first, second, or third one, I'm like, I'm good.
Right.
So here's my thing. I got it. Okay. I don't like looking
He
at
is like
people.
using
I don't
his
like looking at people.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I saw before I knew that there was going to be a sequel. At the end of the first one, I was like, there's got to be a second one. They've set it up for there to be a second one. Then I went on the internet, not looking for it. It just popped up, trust me. It said, oh, Bright got confirmed for a sequel. And, you know what I mean? Then I found out that it's actually a trilogy. So I knew after watching the first one, you gotta come back.
But that's not the point. You consuming the movie as if there needs to be or there should be something coming after.
Exactly, because that's how they did it. So they did a job well done. But if they already know that I'm trying to create a trilogy without saying it, and then they, you know what I mean, then they did it.
Most people don't know that, and people don't or really want that. When you go to a film, you are like, I want to see a really good movie. I don't want to see something with a bunch of holes in it that I have to go to see the next one to really understand what's going on.
Yeah, man, don't spoon feed me. I don't like.
But I mean, that's fine. But like you said.
Just caught me. If
you said, I know your name. I was just saying, like you said, you know, you like Saw was a good movie.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go to the next one, you see another good movie after that. Every film should be its own thing. It should stand up on its own feet. You shouldn't be standing on the feet of a movie you haven't even created yet. Doesn't make sense.
They're probably creating it, but we talking in circles now. Y'all good?
All right.
Good. Got
Speaking of talking in circles, I don't know what's next.
You don't have to do the segue. You don't have to do this. You just gave yourself that responsibility.
Right. I'm gonna take it on myself to tell y'all I don't know what was going on.
Oh man, so we talking about, I don't know, I guess we in like this review mode. I mean, that's all this podcast is. It's about review.
Right.
But Justin Timberlake just dropped a new song. I haven't heard it.
I haven't either.
You heard it?
I did.
Okay, what's up?
I didn't really like it.
Okay.
Like, it was weird. It wasn't the Justin Timberlake.
Who produced it? Do you know?
No.
I want to know. I'm
Look it up.
Watch it be Timberland. Watch it be Timberland from other stuff.
It wasn't Timberland. Like, I know that much.
Did you
You don't always know when it's a Timberland joint.
Did you hear a beatbox in the back?
If this was Timberland, then I'm going to be very
I ain't got
sad.
no money.
No,
It was not.
No,
It could
no.
not have been Timberland.
No, it was. Yeah,
It
I
was
would
not.
agree that it was
That's-
just not.
that's-
It was not.
we
If
don't know who
anything,
it
I felt
was.
like it was a precursor or a forecast on where entertainment is going, in that people will be satisfied with a copy or a version of the artist that they like. But artists will be able to duplicate themselves just like products. That is what I got from it, is that people are going to buy tickets to see JT, but they're not actually going to see JT.
What do you mean?
Well, if you watch the music video.
Oh,
I haven't seen it.
Video. I only heard
It's
Is
like
it called
like
Filthy? I mean,
yeah.
okay.
yeah, I was about to play it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it might behoove you to watch the video.
I'm
but
about to watch this video
honestly
right
think give
now.
it 10 years. And people are going to be paying to see the replicas of their favorite artists. For
Oh
cheaper.
no, I completely agree with
would
that.
do
I
that?
think that they're going to be hologram tours.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to be able to see like
Oh yeah.
Michael Jackson
Yeah.
and Prince and Luther Vandross. I vote for a Luther Vandross hologram tour, please and thank you. But
And you still going to have people going nuts and paying extra to be in the front,
yeah.
because that's,
So that's
the
what the
nature of
video was
people and
about?
consumerism.
But does that make up for the fact that the song was still
Stupid.
trash?
She don't like the song, man, itself.
The song, it just didn't ignite any type of
It didn't.
intellectual or carnal, like, curiosity.
Like usually when you listen to Justin Timberlake, like you feel something, like like warm and fuzzy, or you feel sad for no reason, or some like there's some emotional.
I think it was okay for the first 45 seconds.
What you
And then it kind
said?
of lost me.
For the first 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm honest. I'm being honest right now.
All right,
Sorry.
somebody talk all this dead air. He just playing.
So, Jared's listening.
Jared
to
gonna
it.
Oh, you can hear it?
Jared gonna get
Sorry.
sued for this copyright infringement.
We gotta pay for it.
We ain't got no money if you
So-
come. We ain't got no money. We ain't got no something to take you home with me. Hey,
See?
you know, I was thinking about that song. Wait, no, that's a Timberland song.
No, I know.
Was he on
but
that song? Yeah, Nelly Furtado. You know, I was thinking about the lyrics to that song. He is a deadbeat dude in this song, and she like whatever.
Well, yes.
So
but the beat is good.
He's like, I ain't got no money.
The beat is good.
I ain't got
not
no
gonna
car to take you on a date. I can't buy you flowers.
are we still talking about Justin? Oh,
No,
we
we
moved
switched to
on.
Timberland real quick.
Is it what?
We switched to Timberland real quick.
How
But we
relevant?
back.
Okay.
Answer
So
this
low
question.
key, I just watched just part of it.
Yeah.
I do feel like this is still it's filthy, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
the song. I do still feel like this is Justin.
How much did you watch? 45 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Now,
I know the
that
first
was
45
fine.
seconds was good.
As a song like for me, I have listened. I'm using this in air quotes. Listen to that song a good amount of times, but I always I can't remember. It's not memorable. Like I couldn't sit here right now and I don't know the beat of the song. I don't know, and I've listened to it mad times.
So it was like, it was
Dang,
kinda
I wish I
generic.
didn't watch this
memorable.
song.
Why did you
kinda
listen to it
generic.
many times? Were you
because
trying
I
to
really
like
was
it?
trying to
You was trying to like it.
I was trying to just figure out what was up. I was
Who
like, am I
produced
crazy?
it?
Have I changed? But then I was like,
And
no,
if you
it's
releasing
just
songs
so
like
bad.
this at the same time as songs like Finesse. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
No, that's good. We're not
That's
there yet.
real.
Like,
But
you
yes.
can't, you're
gotta
not gonna
come.
last.
So here's my thing: cultural appropriation. So this is different. This is different, a different Justin than we've ever heard. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
I would say yes.
The big thing right now is Justin has he been culturally appropriating his whole career since NSYNC at this point?
I don't think so.
All right, elaborate.
I feel
Please.
like, I mean, here's the thing about music. Here's the thing about cultural appropriation in general. I feel like it's very difficult for you to say that any one individual is appropriating
I don't know if it's difficult.
one
to say.
thing. I think it is because
here's the first criteria. Were you in this culture like this? Were you not? Okay, if you are, cool. You're not culturally appropriate. If you are, what you
Him
say?
and Timberland. I could hear it.
I hear Timberland all through that.
Yeah,
You do.
I was about to say you hear Timberland all through that song, and it was written by James Fauntleroy.
Oh
Yikes.
wow!
Right.
They was like, look,
What?
listen, we about to go
So-
left.
I'm confused.
So listen.
So yeah, he's still same old Justin. They
So
just doing
all-
different stuff now.
Right. All they did was said, "What is about to happen in 2019?"
We're going to define it.
Yes.
We're going to tell
That's
you
what
what's
they
going to
just
happen
did
in
this song.
2019.
No.
I'm
We're
telling
gonna,
you.
No, that's real. They've done that.
Yep.
They've
Every time
been doing
Timberland
that.
Drop something.
Ah.
He's
He
like,
does
"What's
shift
about to
the-
happen
Yes.
He
next?"
shifts the music.
Ah.
Justin Timberland. Oh,
That's
That's
good.
sad.
I know.
I feel like I don't like what's happening. I don't like what's going to happen in 2020.
Because I'm like, wait a minute. Why did they bring what do you call the thing, the little avatar thing, and have him doing what? It's like this is what's happening in the future.
Yeah.
Like nobody's doing
Future
this.
sex
I
love
feel
song.
you.
This is what's happening in the future.
I feel
And
you.
I only
Sex
watched
love
45 seconds of it, and I was like, wait a minute. This does sound like a Timberland beat, like
Yeah, that
just the way
futuristic, funky, still funky.
I didn't
like,
catch
that's
Timberland.
Timberland.
But, okay.
808 snaps, yeah.
I'll
yeah.
tell y'all right now, Timberland makes some songs that y'all will never know it was Timberland unless you looked at the credits.
Yeah,
So I'm like, I'm not putting nothing past Timberland.
I'm excited to listen to it now. I don't know why, but Fauntleroy.
Yo, I'm
and-
such a contrarian. I'll probably like it just because nobody else does.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm gonna ask you about cultural appropriation, there's a couple, like, let's sound the ground rules first.
He said,
Is
"I'm gonna
cultural
bring it
appropriation good or
So
bad?
we gonna talk about this cultural appropriation.
Is it good or bad?
Say that again.
Is it good or bad?
It's bad.
Okay. See, the thing is,
See, that's where you're wrong.
that's the gray area though, because cultural appropriation isn't necessarily bad. It's just something that is. It happens all the time. Like
Gentrification.
Right.
You like
But
gentrification.
just because something happens all the time, that doesn't mean that it's not bad.
but it doesn't mean it is bad either. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like you use chopsticks, you eat
I do
Asian
not.
food.
I do not.
Okay,
I do not use
most
substance.
people who enjoy
Sure.
Asian food
And then
have
culturally
know how to
appropriate.
use exactly. Is that bad?
Yes.
Okay, it's not bad, and I'm gonna
Yes.
tell you
I'm
why.
gonna stick to my
It's not bad, but let me tell you why. Because when we talk about like the way that culture like is disseminated, especially in the United States, where there's a lot of different cultures, and we talk about the ways in which different cultures are oppressed and different communities are oppressed, there is no way for one culture to like get to the level of social status that they need to without sharing part of their culture, without some of the culture spilling over to the next.
I think it's
You know.
I think cultural appropriation is bad when you take it and try to say you made it.
Right. I
So,
can
like-
agree with that.
Like, if you go to the internet right now and type in dreadlocks, you will see all from the top, like at the beginning, all white people wearing dreadlocks.
Yeah.
If you go to the internet and type in hip hop, at the top you're gonna see Eminem and all white people. Then you'll start getting into seeing black people.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you take something and try to make, and like it's like me going over to Japan and wearing what they wear and come back here and be like, hey, I started this.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that cultural appropriation, and then taking it and saying, no, this is mine. Like I started this.
Right.
Worship me for starting
Right.
this, whatever.
Right.
Then there's an issue.
It's like when white people started wearing what do you call them, cornrows,
Right.
and they was calling them boxer braids,
Right.
and they was like, "Oh, we've been doing this for a long time."
Yeah. So that's why I feel like that becomes an issue, because it's like, man, no, like say that, tell us where you got this from. Like, don't just take this and run with it. You know what I'm saying?
See, I think that may be more of a responsibility of the media than it is any individual. Like I feel like not enough people understand like social tourism and like the ways in which minority cultures work in this society, like, or any society. Like, if we're talking about like the proliferation of like black success in America over the course of history, that can't happen without the support of white people, without sharing our culture, without that stuff happening. And it's not to say that anybody should take it and say that it's theirs, which would be like, that happens on like jazz and all that, rock and roll and all that stuff like that. But it's not possible for us to reach where we need to socially if we don't share anything. And it's okay.
Go
It's
ahead,
okay.
talk, girl.
No, but listen,
I
there
did some
is no.
Googles.
You need some what?
Well,
I
but
did
there
some
is,
Googles.
but I'm saying like it's just not possible for us to reach the place that we need to be socially as like a diverse group without something being transferred from one to the other. Like, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
So wait,
Go
can
for
I
it.
jump in really
Go for
quick?
it.
Just
Yeah.
because. So via Google, what you're explaining, Jonathan, you're talking more about like a cultural exchange, which is because cultural appropriation is synonymous with cultural misappropriation. Misappropriation is taking someone's culture and not giving them credit as you're
Right.
defining it.
Right.
But there is a concept that's also called a culture exchange, where a minority culture isn't being marginalized for the benefit of like colonialism.
Right, but
basically.
here's the deal about cultural exchange. Cultural exchange does not happen on a regular basis because exchanging cultures, like most cultural experience, happen on one side. Like, you're going to a Mexican restaurant, you're going to Japan, you're going to this thing to learn about that culture. You don't exchange. It's a one-sided learning experience. And so cultural exchange does happen often. It happens in a lot of cases, but since most of our cultural experiences are one-sided, we have to be okay with, like, it's important for us to understand that, okay, we're going to go learn about this, we're going to enjoy this part of their culture, and then come back and like teach other people about it. That's like the whole, like, there's an umbrella called like cultural tourism, and that includes culture exchange. It includes like tourism and going different places. It includes like What else? Learning different languages and stuff like that.
But
I
honestly,
don't think that's appropriation.
exchange.
no, you
What?
are honest. You are talking about cultural exchange.
No, I'm not. It's under cultural tourism. But go
So,
on.
well, it's under cultural tourism, but
Yeah.
it's cultural exchange because you're saying I'm going to Japan, I'm learning something, I'm coming back and I'm teaching people about it because I learned it in Japan.
Right.
You're not saying I'm going to Japan, I'm coming back and I'm teaching people about it as if I knew that this is something that I made up.
But
You know what I'm saying?
that's the thing. But I think one of the things that people don't get about like the way that we learn culture is that it's the idea that it's one-sided most of the time. It's not like when I go to Japan, they're not learning about me really. I'm not sharing part of my culture. They're sharing it with me. And then when I come back, I share it with other people around me, and that kind of builds like this cultural
But the
competency.
issue
so
is
that
you're not
we can-
taking it as if
Oh no,
your
I'm not
own-
saying
as
that
if
is
it's your own,
appropriation.
though.
That's not what I'm saying.
But I
You're
thought
just
it
saying
was-
No,
it's
but
not
I'm
cultural
saying what
exchange.
Right. I'm saying you're
Okay,
right.
cultural
I
tourism,
agree
I
with
get
you, but I'm saying that I think the issue is a little bit more deeper than like whether cultural appropriation is wrong or right. Because I feel like, because when we talk about like the success of even women, right?
But
or
if
any kind of minority, they can't be successful unless they teach us about them. Because I don't understand women's issues. They have to explain it to me.
Yeah, and I'm
There
all
has to
for
be
teaching others,
sharing,
but that's
right?
not cultural. That's not what cultural appropriation is defined as.
No, I'm not saying it is.
Well,
Wait, I'm
can
so
we
confused.
speak very specifically then? Let's talk about the box braids, the cornrows.
Right.
When it hit the magazines as the newest trend.
right.
How do you explain that?
That is cultural appropriation.
Okay.
And
you
I think that's
good.
bad.
Okay.
I think that's bad.
Okay.
I agree with
Okay.
you.
Right.
I agree with
Time
you.
out. I said cultural appropriation is always wrong, and you
Right.
said no, it's not.
It's not always wrong.
Okay.
But explain.
So
okay,
let's
Because
get
if you-
explain what it's
explain
right.
cultural appropriation is okay.
Yeah, let's get
Because
specific.
the definition of cultural appropriation is never okay.
No. See, that's the thing. Anytime, so if we're defining it as any time that somebody from a different culture has a part of somebody else's culture and they're not
Yes.
from that culture,
Because that's
cultural appropriation.
No,
That's
no,
the
no.
same as me going putting some tribal art in my house. That's the same as me going to
No, it's
no.
not.
That
Not
is
if somebody
cultural
comes up to
appropriation.
you and they're like, "Oh, explain this piece to me," and you can then eloquently state the culture.
It's still cultural
behind-
It's like
appropriation.
a person going to a hang out with Native Americans and coming back and making a dream catcher and saying, "Oh, I had a dream and I just made this. This is my thing."
No.
Like,
Get
that's
all the
cultural-
credit for it.
Right, and get all the credit for it. That's cultural appropriation.
It's all of it is cultural appropriation. Anytime you have something that is not from your culture, that's still part of cultural appropriation.
I don't think so.
It really is, because the same thing you're talking about. The exact same thing you're talking about. People have like, because I've been watching this, like the media stuff when it was like really big a couple years ago. Like somebody would post something, or some white people would post something with something they got from a trip. And then like all these comments will come up about she being cultural appropriated, when she probably just went there, learned about the culture, and brought something back. And we kind of view it from the outside. You can't tell cultural appropriation from the outside if it's good or bad.
So
she went and she got something and she put it in her house because it meant something from her experience.
This is why.
Maybe
Most of the time, when we see something on the internet or whatever, most of the time it from slavery, we feel like, man, like white people took this from us. Like you took something from us and never gave anybody credit for it. So most of the time when we see white people going to other countries and they come back and you don't give credit where credit is due, we automatically assume, are you like, not even assume, it's like, man, I want to hope that you're not doing this, but based off of a long line of you doing this, more than likely this is where, you know what I'm saying, like we feel some type of way about that.
Right, but
now
that's
if I see a white person come back and say, man, I got texting or tweeting, I got this whatever from wherever, and this is what I learned about it, then cool, we have no issue with it.
But that's not the responsibility of every individual to then go out and tell everybody they know, like, oh, you saw this thing, I have to explain to you what it is now.
I'm not saying
but
that,
like
but I'm
that's
just-
more of a mentality, because listen, the same thing that you're saying, that we do for white people, Africans say the same thing about Black Americans. They would think that we steal their culture, and they call it cultural appropriation.
And then they would be right.
But it's not wrong.
Yes, it is.
If
wrong.
you're doing it to connect with your African heritage,
here's the thing.
and learning.
No, that's
like you can't like
Everybody's not Nigerian.
like,
Go ahead.
just because like I go like everybody's not Nigerian, everybody's not Cameroonian,
Right.
you can't Ghanaian. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Everybody's not Ghanaian, and so it's just like me as a like. Excuse you.
Go ahead.
I lost my thought.
No.
Oh, I'm so mad. I'm so
She was
mad.
hanging on to the coattail of that. Go.
Everybody's not Nigerian. Everybody not Cameroonian. Everybody not.
I'm so
Go on.
upset. I'm so upset. What was say your point again? Y'all, I'm so hot right now.
Go for it.
I'm so mad.
No, I was saying
But
that.
okay, no,
yeah.
you were saying how like we as African Americans will do things to connect with like a culture within Africa, and it's just like, but just because like I'm Black and I'm then going to like Kenya and adopting something and bringing it back, like I can not still claim that as my own just because I'm Black. I don't know if I'm Kenyan. I do know, like, I'm like 22% this, I'm 11% that, I'm 6% this. That doesn't mean that I can go over to those respective countries and be like, oh, it's not yours.
But here's the thing. As Black people, we don't know where we came from.
This is true.
So every other person that comes to the United States, they know where they came from. So they, like, most of the time, they pull from where they came from and say, this is who I am. Black people, we can't say that. We can't say, oh, I come from Nigeria, I come from Ghana, I come from wherever in Africa. It's just like, oh, I know I'm part this, like Native American. Every Black person, especially in the 90s, oh, I got Indian in my blood. Like, everybody used to say that. But like, we don't know what tribe we are a part of. So with all of that, it's like, where do we pull from? I know I'm Black, and more than likely, I came from Africa. I can't tell you anything outside of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
I don't necessarily feel like that's a full cultural appropriation, as if somebody
It still was cultural appropriation.
I get you. I understand
Which
that.
is why it's not always bad. That's what I'm saying.
But
Anytime you take something that's not yours, it's appropriated.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is it cultural appropriation?
Anytime you take it,
is it cultural appropriation for a white person to run around and say, my nigga?
Yes.
That's just ignorant.
Right. So for me, I'm like, Black folks, that's us. That's our thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Black people came from, for the most part, came from Africa. We know that. Mm-hmm. That's where we originate.
Yeah.
For a white person to go and take something from an African American or African or Asian or wherever, like for them to take that and then use it as their own or say that this is their own, I feel like that's a slap in the face cultural appropriation. For a Black person to go to Africa and say, I want to learn something about my culture, I don't know where I come from because you kept these books away from me for so long. You kept all of this stuff away from me for so long. Hell, I don't know where I came from. I want to go and learn about it. I can't learn about all of the countries unless I go and do what's the little swab test thing? Ancestry.com. Everybody ain't doing that. Everybody can't do that. But I don't feel like going to Africa for a Black person, going to Africa, learning about wherever they go in Africa and coming back and saying, man, I want to wear a dashiki. I want to wear this kente cloth. I want to wear whatever it is because I've learned something about who I am and where I came from. I don't feel like that's a slap in the face cultural appropriation. African people might feel some type of way about it, but if you explain this situation and explain where you're coming from and saying, I'm proud of who I am, I don't see an issue with that.
Well, that's not appropriation though. Like that,
it is,
from
though.
That perspective.
It is. Ask an African.
From that perspective, I don't view it as appropriation because you have a knowledge and an understanding behind the things that you're wearing. That's not appropriate. Like, and I completely agree with everything that you just said. But appropriation is meant for like the advancement of colonialism. Like, basically, and who was colonizing everything?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm using this as maybe I'm playing devil's advocate, but but my point is like cultural appropriation. The more I've learned about it, because I have a minor in sociology, so I study this stuff. But
she just
and I know
Googled some stuff. So
I know she Googled it.
On Wikipedia.
Google's got some cred, but someplace.
Shade.
But the thing is, like, the reason why that's important to me, like understanding cultural appropriation and like all its like aspects, is because Africans really do feel strongly. Some of them feel really strongly about African Americans, coming in with wearing kente cloths and dashikis and stuff, because they're not from that culture. We're not. We have our own culture as Americans, as Black Americans, and and it goes all around. So I feel like I think that each case needs to be taken individually. I think it's a little bit more complex than just talking about me claiming it as my own when it's not. I think it's more understanding that like this is from outside of where I'm from, right? And getting a full understanding, appreciation of that, because I don't think it's always bad, because sometimes it leads to more understanding, like you said, and so that's that. I mean, that's just how I feel about it now.
I just want to say that this is by far one of my favorite episodes of this show. Great conversation. We could talk about this all day.
We can
talk about this all day, obviously. So more on cultural appropriation. How do y'all feel about Bruno Mars and Cardi B dropping a new single? So it's obviously a dedication. I mean, they said it. People on the internet, where is this from? If she don't know where this is from, she's too young, fam.
So she didn't.
Like, wait, what?
Where is what from? Cardi B didn't know what it.
No,
folks.
Yeah, you know those memes.
Folks.
You know those memes.
I was about to say, what?
How old is she?
So at the, she's got to be like 24.
Yeah, 24.
It's obviously a dedication to In Living Color.
Yep.
I don't know why they just decided to salute In Living Color. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
But Bruno Mars, who's Filipino, Puerto Rican, I think.
Yeah.
Cool dude.
Is this what is he doing right now? I mean, we're loving it. Everybody's loving it.
He's Latino. What's the problem? I don't get it.
He's Filipino.
He's Filipino.
He's Puerto Rican.
Yeah, and Puerto Rican. Yeah. Isn't she Puerto Rican?
Who? J-Lo?
No.
Cardi.
Cardi B.
She's Dominican and Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thoughts on it.
Oh, I was just looking at it from a music perspective. Go on.
I mean, I love the song.
We talking about the video.
Are we talking about the video? No,
Yeah.
just Bruno. Also, I feel like a lot of people try to say that Bruno culturally appropriates like funk and soul music, and I personally don't think he does.
I'm starting to see a parallel between the offensive
Right.
appropriation with ignorance and things
Yeah.
that are not welcome.
Yeah.
Bruno is welcome.
Yeah.
He can come
Right.
to the cookout.
Right.
Nobody's gonna kick him
Cardi
out.
can come to the
She can
cookout.
come to the cookout. But if you
There was
are
a time
gonna
when
be,
Justin Timberlake could have come to the cookout.
Justin Timberlake still can come to.
Is
Wait, he
still
said some
allowed?
stuff.
What did he say?
He said something around like the All Lives Matter.
Oh.
He had boxer braids at some point.
Oh Lord.
He did. Remember that?
Oh,
Here's
in
my
the
thing
90s?
about Bruno Mars. He stole JC Chaz's whole style, man.
From NSYNC?
From NSYNC. If y'all know anything, Bruno stole
JC
JC
whole style.
Chaz's style. I'm a big NSYNC fan, I know JC Chaz's when I hear him. That
He probably right for
Where they
him.
at?
what
though.
he got to, the way he does, the way he sounds, the way he does his runs and stuff. I'm like, you have studied JC Chazé just like I have. but you do it way better on a huger scale.
So-
because Keela has already let you know that I'm not important.
So here's my so here's my thing about that. Aside from the cultural appropriation, I feel like as doing music, I feel like managers, publicists probably said, this is going to be the star. He's going to be a star. Justin.
Okay.
You're going to be a star.
They marketed them both. They marketed them as both the lead singers. They were. It was. If you hear that first album, it's JC's. It's JC's group for
Right.
sure. You hear that second album, it's like. You hear that third album, it's like okay.
Right.
Y'all know where y'all bread is buttered.
So I just feel like, I don't know this, but I just feel like, especially in music, like if somebody says this person is gonna be a star, the rest of y'all, I don't know what you're gonna do. If JC was smart, he's like, I'm writing for you. I've written everything else we did, so I'm just gonna write for you. You gonna sound just like me. Period.
It works. Just not on me.
Pooh Bear writes for Justin Bieber.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin Bieber does exactly what Pooh Bear does.
Are you looking up who wrote this? No. Okay.
Okay.
You obviously not doing it.
Right.
It's all right.
Sorry.
So I don't think it would be bad if he sounds like JC. Now,
It's not bad because JC don't get the credit he deserves.
most writers don't get the credit they deserve.
I mean, no, but he was a singer on NSYNC.
I know, but
And I didn't want
NSYNC
this to be
broke
a
up.
topic. I didn't want this to be a topic.
Okay, but anyway, let's go back. Let's go back to Cardi now.
Cardi B.
Let's go back to Cardi now.
Yeah, I just
Do I
hey
feel
JC,
like
if
that's-
you watching this, if you listen to this podcast, come on up, man.
You're right.
He really loves
I
you.
don't beef with, and somebody might have to explain it to me better, but I don't fully beef with what they did in the video. When it comes to music,
Who's beefing?
a lot of people, y'all said a lot of people don't like the video and
Really?
cultural
I
appropriation.
don't know if I said that.
No, I'm saying
No,
like
I think
it was,
we were talking about cultural appropriation from the standpoint of like the type of music that Bruno produces. Like,
oh,
Yeah.
I just feel like
Yeah.
music is music.
I don't consider it cultural appropriation because Bruno has stated, like, he has said, like,
This is not
American music is
cultural
black
appropriation.
music.
Yeah,
Like,
he said that
so
many
he
times.
said, like, he
This
acknowledges.
is not cultural appropriation.
Shut up.
So he said it, y'all. It's
Yeah.
not that.
Like,
No,
Bruno-
it's because like he's acknowledging like
I know
where
what y'all
he's
think.
pulling
I know what y'all
his,
think.
like, his
I know what y'all think.
Keep
This
on
is not
stop
that.
talking. I'm gonna turn your mic off in a second. Keep
He's gonna
going.
pull the cord out.
Literally, but
wrap
I
that
feel like
mug up there.
because like Bruno will readily admit and like give credit to the fact that like this
Right.
is where he's pulling his music.
He's
from.
like, man, I'm a fan of
inspired
James
by it.
Brown. I'm a fan.
appropriate. Okay.
No, he's definitely
But
said
I'm
I'm a
not.
fan of James Brown. I'm a fan of like all of these people. Like,
I'm sure Ed Sheeran is a fan of James Brown.
absolutely.
I'm sure we know that Adele is a fan of Beyonce.
Yes.
So I don't care.
So I mean, but I don't.
Like,
I just feel like if you're going to take something, please let it be known where you got it from. That's my
True.
like.
okay.
So, Michael Jackson. If we watch all of Michael Jackson's moves and we see the movie that came out right before Michael Jackson did his stuff, I forgot old dude's name, but Michael Jackson took all of his moves. His whole career was based off of this man's moves in that movie. Nobody ever knew where that
What
came
movie
from.
is this?
Bro, I forgot. I
We
forgot
looked
the
that
name.
up.
Hey,
Breaking?
it's a
Can we fact check? Can we fact check
Yes.
this real quick?
Yes.
Breaking?
Hold on, I will look it up and show you.
But you
where
know
he
who
got
does
this
that
stuff
also?
from.
All right, somebody
Beyonce
keep
does that a
talking
lot
like
too.
Beyonce does.
She
Say it
steals
again?
a lot of music. She gets inspired from a lot of different places, quote unquote.
He put inspired in air quotes.
Yeah, quote unquote. She gets inspired from a lot of places. She goes to Europe and Africa, Asia.
But some might argue that artistry is what's the word? What is it? What's the there's a quote where it's basically saying like,
it's fluid. Like
no, like creating is mimicking stuff. Like, you know what I mean? It's just I forget the word, man. Not mimicking, but it's like you copying off of stuff. All of it. Jared is showing. Jared, describe to us what is happening
What's the
right
name
now,
of the
please,
video so that people
in
can
this
look it up?
podcast.
What's the name of the movie?
In this
Hold on.
audio
Or whatever you're
podcast. Please.
Sorry, guys. So, Bob Fosse. Bob Fosse is he was in some movie. I forgot the name of the movie. I can't find it. I'm looking for it. But Bob Fosse dropped this movie a long time ago, and he's dancing for some girl. He's trying to seduce her. He acts like a snake and does all these hissing noises and stuff like that. And the way he's moving, like Michael Jackson took and stole all of the moves.
Well, we're gonna play it, and as you don't turn, you got the lock on.
No,
Okay.
it's gonna flip it up. Okay.
So we're watching it, and he's got like this
They do
top
look
hat.
very-
The neck thing.
Okay, he's
Hold
doing
on.
the neck thing. He's kicking his foot out with the high water pants on.
I mean,
Hold
yeah.
on. Wait, we gonna see all of the moves. Hold on first. Let me go back.
Is this a black man?
Watch. No, it's a white guy.
Okay, he just looks very tan. Okay.
Somebody
Watch this.
All right.
And hit.
Oh, wow.
That's a Michael Jackson move, is it not?
Yeah, it is.
Is
sure.
this man in blackface?
No, he
No.
better
Or
not
is he
be
just
in no
really
black
tan?
place.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
He's in the desert.
He in
It's hot.
Phoenix, Arizona.
That must be makeup. Okay.
So
I have
let's-
a question. Can you
What is
culturally misappropriate white people?
Can you culturally
Look.
misappropriate?
Yes.
Look at the shoes.
What do you mean?
Look at the socks.
Like,
Look at the
Got it.
flooding pants.
But-
everything.
okay,
But
is
here's
that
the deal.
stealing
Those
or
are facts.
cultural
I feel like-
appropriation, though?
I mean, I'm not saying it's coach.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, like, why?
I think-
Bob Fosse is a dancer.
All right, go ahead.
I think in the when we talk about cultural appropriation, I'm just gonna have to be devil's advocate because there's too many like caveats to a lot of what we talk about. But I do feel like black people need to not give away the culture, though. I feel like we give away the culture a lot of times, especially like we talk about like where, like who's doing this in what place, and like how rap and hip hop has like proliferated to like other countries. Like all these major rappers, they get most of their sales from white people
Here's
and
the deal.
touring in white places, and so you don't expect them to like take part of that into listening to it all the time and dressing like these rappers that are in their that they see in concert all the time.
I feel like white people do
We
these
give away the
things
culture.
because they don't have a culture. Like, and I'm maybe the only person who believes this, but I don't feel like white people have culture, and so they look for it everywhere else.
Yeah.
And my thing is just like, I don't feel it's my responsibility or our responsibility as like people of color to like safeguard our magic. Like, we create dope stuff.
Yeah.
White people recognize that as dope, and they like, that's not like,
Come
I
on,
don't feel like
passion.
it's on us to like stronghold and like protect and guard and like not share
Yeah.
the beautiful things that we create and we produce and that we deserve credit and honor for, just because Sally Mae and Bobby Joe want to come over here and
Sally
like
Mae and Bobby
steal
Joe.
it away and then try to profit off of it and package it as if it's theirs. That's where I have an issue. I don't think it should be on people of color to like hide or tuck away the things that they're capable of because people don't know how to act.
I want to say
agree.
something real quick before we go on any further. To any of our white listeners, no, it's okay. It's okay. I was thinking about this over my break. There's no such thing. Adults don't get breaks, but like over
Right.
over the
Rock
break,
and grind.
over the break. I was thinking like, man, like I don't think any of us in here hate white people.
No.
Okay, so when we're
Really, I
talking,
don't.
and so I know that, Jared is married to a lovely white woman.
I love you, baby.
Yeah. So I want that to be known. We're not bashing white people. We just we appreciate y'all. I mean, the ones that we know. the ones that we know, the ones that I know that are listening, love y'all. We love y'all very
We
much.
do. This is
But
no
we're not about to
secret.
apologize for anything that we're saying when it comes to this.
Yeah.
And I don't think y'all would want us to. I think partially the reason why you guys are listening is to understand. But here's one thing about understanding. Don't just understand and be like, oh, I understand. I feel better because I understand. Share this with your white counterparts. Share this other stuff. Share this thought process as well.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about that. We don't hate y'all. Love y'all. The ones that we know, we love them. And I can only speak for myself when I say I love all people in general.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
I agree with what you said. Absolutely. But I still I do think that because it's not even just in America. We like rap, hip hop, $1 billion industry. There is no way that they're getting all that money from just Black America or just America itself.
Right.
They're going to other countries. They're going to Australia. That's where what's the name
There's
from?
who?
Iggy.
Oh yeah.
Iggy. That's where she from. She probably learned from some rapper that went over there and started touring, and then it,
Iggy started off as a pop
Iggy
artist, which is a while
She
ago.
did.
has
She
been
did.
looking
She was full on
really,
pop artist.
She
really
did.
great lately.
And so
She has been looking mighty fine.
no one says she
Please
wasn't.
continue your
I'm
point.
just saying,
We're not.
That
I'm
is
just saying she has been looking pretty incredible.
that
Please
is that is
unplug
Iggy
Keith's
though.
mic.
You can't unplug. This is my show.
Continue.
This
As
is
much
true.
as y'all disrespect me. Go ahead.
But like yeah, so like there's no way I feel like we do give away part of the culture when we do stuff like that, and like how we present it to other cultures, and we like want them to do it. And then even like when I watch a lot of social media like on YouTube and like maybe Vines or when that was a thing, and like Facebook, sometimes I don't like the way that Black people talk to like white people and people of other cultures, because they talk to them, use the N-word with them, and talk to them
I
like they're
don't
another
like
Black
that.
person.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of giving them permission to like take part of the culture and like speak it back with them and communicate in the same way.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's an issue for me. I don't like that.
I do see where you're coming from. But I think
I
it's
don't know.
because we haven't had I feel like Black people are just now not even just Black people, like people of color are just now starting to like build the structures and like the foundations to help us safeguard.
But I feel like that, like not being able to speak the way I want to speak to a person, and them knowing not to, like understanding not taking this and using it back with me, like that
some
takes
people
my freedom.
encourage them to. Like I've seen videos of
no.
people encourage
No.
their white friends or their whatever friends.
Yeah, like
to
you
talk
can say
like them.
it. You can say
Nah.
it to me.
No,
I'm
no,
like,
yeah,
I'm
no.
not with that. I'm not rolling because you gave him permission to say it to you. He doesn't see it as just you giving him permission to say it to
Right.
you. He feels as though you're giving him permission to say it to other Black people as
Right.
well. And it's like, nope, you
I
keep
mean-
that over there with your friends.
So-
it be the Black people that be like, it be the Black white boys with the Yu-Gi-Oh cards that be like flat iron in their hair and stuff.
It's not just them. It's not just them.
No, so
It's not just them.
I went to art
so
school.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, nope. I can't.
First day at the Art Institute. I walked in. I'm like, you be like the cool dude, like
Right.
the pseudo cool dude. You walk in there like it's the Twilight Zone. All the cool kids in art school is playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and like all the whack people is just on the outskirts. Like, dang, they playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't get down with that.
Right.
You just look for somebody with a fitted on. Like, hey,
Right.
what's
Hey, what's poppin'?
poppin'? Yu-Gi-Oh? No, okay. Let's eat lunch.
You're goofy.
Shoot.
So
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, yeah.
So back to the conversation.
We have to move on.
No, we don't.
yeah, let's move on.
Logan Paul. This is still cultural.
Okay.
Logan Paul.
Can we not stay on him for very long? Because I don't really like him.
He's actually
Well, that's
terrible
all the more
human
reason to
being.
talk
See, but he's like one of those people. When he was on Vine,
I'm really enjoying this episode.
when he was on Vine, he would collaborate with a lot of these other Black
I want to
Viners.
stay here forever.
And they would talk to each other the exact same way, and they would kind of encourage each other to like, because he was one of those boys who used to collaborate a lot, and that's what I didn't like when I saw him. Like, I can't remember the Black guy's name, but it was one. It was there was a couple people, but they would collab and they would kind of encourage this guy to talk like them. You
Yeah.
know? I don't like that. I don't.
And
like
I feel like though Black people who do that are problematic.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you are a black person who does that, stop it. It's not helping anybody. You're messing it up for all of us. Like, please stop.
Yeah.
It's not cute. I know your mama raised you better.
Right.
And so that definitely is an example of like, and I think that it like, just as much as I was saying, like, we as people of color, like, don't need to like guard or like keep away the things that we create. I do think, as most things are, it's double-sided. It's just like, we also need to like have pride, like have a sense of pride in the things that we're creating, to not just egg on. I'm over it.
So I do feel
She got exhausted mid explanation.
And just tired.
I do feel like we should not give
There's no answer.
like give a person the okay to take something, but I don't feel like I need to take my own freedom from speaking or acting the way I want to act, or doing the things that I want to do within my culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. If I want to sit down and have a conversation with a white guy and two black guys, and I'm like, yeah, my nigga said, I don't feel like I should have to go, oh yeah, my guy said. Like, no, you should understand that, this is not okay for you to do, number one. And we're gonna make sure that you know, like, if you even try, if the NI comes out, I'll slap. You know what I'm saying?
But
like,
yeah, I feel there are times when I'll do that, but not because I don't want them to say it. Yeah, they should already know that they shouldn't say it. But I know it's just out of respect for them, because I know some white people, they don't say it, and like when they hear it, they like shudder. Like I see I'm on like when I used to be on the train or whatever, public transportation, you see like just black people just being black people, not caring who is around, and that's fine. But then they'll use certain language, and like you'll see like white people get like really uncomfortable. But that's my whole thing. I don't like people being uncomfortable around me. But I get it.
I understand not wanting somebody to be uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm
But
for
I feel
or
like those
against
are the white
anything.
people who like understand also not to
Right.
say
Yeah,
I
it.
mean, so it's like I don't know. There's just something like, yeah, I'm real big, especially like Keith, you know, I'm real big right now, especially on like my freedom to be who I am.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not going to take my freedom from me again. You know what I'm saying? Again.
Not again.
Right.
Period. Like, I mean, there's freedom. Biblically, there's freedom, and there's also just a freedom. Period. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like you're going to take that from me and say, "Oh, that makes me uncomfortable." Well, hell, the 400 years that we was in slavery was uncomfortable as hell too.
No, that's
You
what,
know what I'm saying?
and that's what I was saying earlier, like maybe like 5 minutes earlier, about not apologizing for the things that we're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, want to let y'all know we love y'all, care about y'all, but we not about to apologize for being ourselves and like having these feelings and having these thoughts. You know what I mean? Because they're real.
I don't think that was a criticism of that. I think it's more, like I said, some people encourage
Thank you, Atlanta.
that kind of behavior.
Peace.
All right, Jared.
Bye, Jared.
Hey, send me that me that thing, man.
Personal information.
It's not. Send me that thing is personal
It
information.
is not podcast related.
Okay. Go
It is
ahead.
not
What are we talking
relevant
about?
to the conversation.
I don't care.
Keep it off.
This is a fluid podcast.
Anyway.
That was a good conversation.
Oh, I was about to say something.
That is.
Well, I also feel like kind of like, okay, so like the Logan Paul and like the black kid that he used to do the Vine collaborations with.
Yeah.
I also like, as much as like I too am not gonna apologize for existing and just like, I'm black, deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like there's an issue with that because like Logan Paul's ignorant. And like, you know he's ignorant.
Indeed.
Why are you engaged? Like, as a black person, yes, be black. But also, when you see a white person acting crazy, I need you to check them. Like,
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of the times is like how, I don't even know how, what? No, I don't know. But I feel like in situations like that, like you do have to check people. Like I check my white friends when they say stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
Absolutely.
Let's not.
Absolutely.
Do that.
It's important.
You
That's
have
important.
to.
I remember being in I went to like a math and science camp, and it was like overnight camp, and I was staying there with and then there happened to be another black kid from Detroit there, and we would chop it up, talk, and there's a bunch of other white kids and stuff, and eventually like they would, they liked us, they thought we were cool or whatever, and our pants had holes in them or whatever, and that was the cool thing or whatever. But I noticed that when like sometimes we would the longer we got there, the more of our mannerisms they would like pick up on. And like one time the kid was like running around with like I think like a bandana on or something. He was like, "Is this cool? Is this cool?" And I was like, "No,
You look
just
dumb.
be yourself."
Take it off.
I told him, I was like, "Be yourself." I feel like that's important.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, this
We
show
should just
going.
wrap it up.
So I don't know how to segue into this, but we've been talking about cultural appropriation and what's acceptable and not acceptable, and H&M committed a cardinal sin.
Yes, they did.
Yet again, here we are with we didn't know that this would have
And then you know what? I wanted to look at this in the context.
So let me explain it. Let me explain what's happening first, and then go for it. So recently, I think, what was it? Was it an ad or was it like just in their catalog?
It was a product in their catalog.
On their website.
Yes. Catalog, yeah.
So first of all, I want to say black people just be looking for trouble sometimes. That's one thing. Let's admit it. Let's admit it.
True.
We just be looking for trouble sometimes and get mad at everything.
Accountability. We
I
were
cannot
just talking
confirm
about
or
it.
deny.
You have got
Okay.
to check, folks.
All right.
We do different stuff.
So yeah, so we be looking for stuff to be mad at. So
I'm upset.
So they found it on H&M's website on their catalog.
Who
So
was digging that hard? That's
yeah, I mean it was just right there.
Somebody
Literally
was
was right
shopping.
there.
Somebody
So
was
I'm
shopping.
gonna explain it. So it's for those of you who don't know, and you got to be living under a rock not to know. There's a dark skinned young boy, beautiful young boy, on the page. I think there's like two photos. There's one with him by himself, and then there's another one with another white kid right next to him. So, but the problem is the boy is advertising his shirt. He's modeling his shirt, looking stern as a mug. Strong young black king on the website, but on his shirt it says "coolest monkey in the jungle." Now, are we rolling with the fact that H&M did not know that this was like not appropriate jargon
I
for
really
black
wanted to check it in context. So I'm going to go right
Go
back
ahead,
from there.
go ahead.
So I said, you know what? Before I cast any judgments on this, let me jump on the H&M website. Let me shop for the little boy that I don't have. And I go through all these pictures where there's product and then you roll on it and there's a child. And I was like, oh, all these cute white kids. There's an Asian. Okay. Oh, there's a little Latino. We got to the bottom of the page and there were two black boys. I said, okay, so we've got 30 some models and there's only a few black boys. Okay, and you've got all these clothes. You could put the same hoodie on one of them other children and no one would have cared. So
You gotta talk.
Why?
my issue is why you've got two token black boys in a crowd of 20 other mostly white and then a couple like there's a Latino and like two Asians.
If I saw that shirt on a white boy, I'd be like, my kid's never wearing that. But cool, do what y'all want to do.
Right, you be like, these
be that cool
yeah,
one.
yeah, you go, you have it. You can be anything you want to be, little white boy.
They so funny. I'm not buying it.
Right.
But don't find the. Come here, son. This one.
Yeah, you
right
find
here.
the
Let me
blackest
put this one on
little
you.
boy. Yeah.
And I was like, that was just irresponsible.
It was very irresponsible. There should have been somebody that should have been like,
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do what?
Don't do that. No, that's what
Oh,
I'm saying.
okay,
That's what they should have said.
yes.
I was like, what?
I'm like, what? Don't do what? There could be somebody that said, don't do this. Yeah, I don't know what just happened, but so yeah, I mean, I think that's very. I mean, they're catching. I mean, The Weeknd just said he's not working with them anymore. Like, I didn't know y'all was working with them until
Right.
until.
Thank
we
you,
didn't know you was
Weekend.
working with them.
Thank you, Weekend. Thank you very much.
Now we
that no one knew.
Thank you very much. The
now
Weeknd.
we know. You obviously you weren't doing your job prior to not working with them.
I feel like what this is
Nothing's
turning
going to
into
change.
is that
The
corporations.
world is upside down because the Weeknd isn't working with H&M.
Well, I think
We
what it's
never
turning into, because between Dove and their print ads that went
Dove's
south.
joint was taken out of context, man.
I think so too.
It was
I think so.
definitely
Yes,
taken
no,
out of
but I
context.
saw the television ad had questions. It was the print ad that was super, super bad.
No, because somebody wanted to be mad. Black people want to be mad.
No, it was just messed up. The imagery is messed up. You have to think about subconscious
No,
programming.
if you're not watching, yeah. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole Dove thing because that's like 3 months old.
I get it.
But yeah, all right. So I
My
want to
whole
get into
point
it.
was corporations are going to literally have to have filter artists who are able to make sure that between the things that we have going on with women, with minorities, that everything is going to be appropriate without being overly PC to the point of killing creativity.
When I was, here's one thing I appreciated about my last job that I had. I was one of 2 black people at the job. They would always come to me and be like, Keith, is this okay? Is this not
As
okay?
you should.
Is this okay for this person to say this? Is this not okay for the person to say? And I told him, I was like, I appreciate what is happening right now. You know what I mean? Like y'all don't know. You know what I mean? And so it's okay to ask. Some stuff I thought was silly, but then it's like it's better for you to ask than to not, and then
Absolutely.
just roll with it and be like, I'm never working with this company again. Cause
So with the H&M thing, a former H&M employee actually posted something about just like the company as a whole, and she basically tried to say, they're a Swedish company. They probably just weren't aware of what they were doing. But to that point, I was like, I don't care if they're a Swedish company. Like, they're a global company. You should know better. Like, there is no, like,
That's
I
real.
don't care if
They
you
are
live in
Swedish.
Timbuktu. Like, you should know. Like, there is too much media coverage around this type of stuff for you to not.
y'all
And the thing
can't
is,
tell
like,
Not be
me
on your
y'all
radar.
not
Racial
calling
tension
us
and
monkeys
racial
in
issues
Sweden.
are not only exclusive to the U.S. Like, there are issues in any like diverse country. In all honesty, so it's just like her trying to say that, oh, they're Swedish, like they just don't know. I'm like, no, like y'all are ignorant. You don't hire a broad spectrum of like
Right.
people, and y'all are sitting up there in the Swiss Alps or wherever you are, like, wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Anyways, but you're sitting over there, and it's just like you are choosing to be ignorant. You are choosing to not hire people of color. You're choosing to not hire women to like educate yourselves.
Or they're just not strategically placing their talent, you know?
That's real.
So, because you can't have just one because the one scary thing, Keith, about what happened at your company is that thankfully you have enough of a gauge to know. But what if they're asking someone that honestly don't know what's acceptable because they don't really know their own community that well? What if they brush it off because they didn't really come up in where they really don't know what's sensitive and what isn't?
I think you always run that risk of like, because you're asking one person to represent everyone. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. At least you asked. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one step, I feel. It's better to ask, and you can't poll the whole world. You could try, but you know what I mean? Because people are always going to be offended by something. You know what I mean? But I think if it just went through and nobody said anything, you know what I mean? Then that's a whole different type of thing.
It's true.
You know? So H&M, are we still buying from H&M? We're done? You're done? You shook your head?
I was never.
You was
a
never
customer,
shopping at
so.
H&M?
You know, a lot of those stores,
I swear I just
H&M.
asked the question.
Express.
they don't sell longs. I have long arms, so I usually can't shop there anymore.
So you're like, I've been out.
I've been out,
Okay.
But that was like the straw.
H&M, I'm still rocking with you.
The ice on the
Honestly, I'm glad you said that because I shop at H&M.
Yeah. H&M, you made a mistake. We forgive.
Yes, the jeans I'm wearing right now are from H&M.
H&M,
so
man.
I
Come on,
can't
man.
say
Yeah.
because honestly,
What is it, sis?
Y'all are wrong.
Who's wrong?
H&M is wrong. Y'all are wrong. We get that.
We have the spirit of forgiveness.
We do forgive.
We have the spirit of
I do
forgiveness.
have the spirit of forgiveness.
Is it because some prices are
Reconciliation.
But
right?
my thing is, oftentimes, like in this, it's just, I'm basically about to have to walk around naked if I didn't shop. Like if I just canceled every single company that did something wrong. Like,
That's true.
It's a quick question.
I was going to be walking around here with all the eczema if I didn't forgive Dove.
So
I had to.
I just want to ask:
Okay,
do you think, with this bad press, do you think they're gonna have they taken it down or have they
Yes,
talked about
they
it?
took
think
it
they
down
already
and
took it down.
apologized.
I
Oh,
have.
okay. Okay. Yeah.
I
I'm
did.
still
Okay,
rocking
now if
with
they
you, man.
left it up, that would be a different story. Y'all definitely canceled after that. Like, I'd be like, y'all really just don't care. We called you out, and you still left the little boy.
Yo, Dove
They're
was,
looking crazy.
I mean, H&M was like, all right, y'all, you made a mistake. My bad. Like get over it. Oh, my gosh. We are Swiss.
Swedish.
We are Swedish. My goodness. I want to say, man, this has been a great podcast, man. Huh? What?
No, that's a good question.
Who's my
I
parents?
was thinking that.
Please
This
talk
is
into the
not
mic.
pointing the finger. Like I promise, I'm not. But I
I
genuinely
swear, I was trying to wrap
want
up.
to know. Sorry, and I'm not. We don't have to explore this any further. But I really did at one point ask the question. I was like, were his parents present when they put him?
You know,
They
it
Swedish
almost
too.
looked like they could Photoshop.
Actually, no, you're right.
All the
H&M
clothes.
definitely does do that with their clothes. So they could have very well put that little boy in like.
Joshua would be
I'm
trying to.
popping.
Joshua would be trying to do that. I'd be like,
And
no.
then they could, because H&M definitely does Photoshop.
Because you can tell when you're
Trying to
looking
Photoshop
through all the
stuff on.
pictures.
because they'll just do one
Yep.
and then just like swap. Never
Yeah.
mind. The parents they weren't involved in the beginning, but I did have that question. But there you go. Thank
No,
you,
that's
Keelan.
exactly
I
it. They
appreciate
they brought him for an hour shoot and went home. They didn't know.
At least they got
We
their-
didn't know that our son was
You know,
going to
they
be called a
might have
monkey.
been the ones that brought it up because they was looking at their baby. That's how they
They
found
like,
it.
The coolest. What? No.
Yeah.
I know. Let's see what Black Twitter got to say about this.
Shoot.
Plenty.
They said it.
They said lots.
Want to thank y'all for tuning in to thank God
Real,
for
so
the
real.
group chat. I always forget the name of these shows. I'm glad that y'all are here today as I am wrapping up because we started a new year and like we're embarking on uncharted territory for us. So we're like creating like different shows and stuff and like different things for y'all to hear and watch. And what are we doing? What? Yeah. That's what I'm getting into. That's definitely what I'm getting into. So yeah, we have something coming up with Victoria in February.
What's up?
Oh yeah, with love, V. I'm really looking forward to that. We have to have a meeting about that soon.
Okay.
Very soon. Jonathan is doing a show called what is it? Let me say it. Soothing Swords.
Yes.
Yeah, talk about that real quick.
Well, the idea for the vlog is basically I'm gonna be talking about words and things people say, and kind of how things that people say to me, or even in the media, are challenging, and like there's a lot behind what they say, and so I'm gonna tell a couple stories about like what things people have said and like and unpacking what they said. So I think it'll be interesting.
Awesome. And what's this girl's name? Harmony Constance. I'm going to respect this name. I am.
Respect my name.
Absolutely.
Thank
Harmony Constance is as you probably heard, if you listen to this, you probably listened to the other one. Joshua was shaking his head like, no, I ain't. But
No, he's not, y'all.
yes, he is. He's cutting his eyes at me right there. She has a show called Hurt and Insecure. Why don't you explain that real fast? I forgot.
The heart behind this show talks about how some of our primary relationships, I guess the basis comes off of the book From Hurt to Heal that talks about paternal
The book that you
abandonment.
wrote.
Yes, the book that I authored just a couple of years ago, and but it's actually just a conversation about how we operate a lot of times unconsciously out of hurt and insecure places, and so it's a conversation about how we can become more self-aware and responsible so that we can live the lives that we want and stop blaming other people for our problems.
Awesome. Keela's show is like a 15 to 30-minute podcast. Jonathan's show is a vlog, and Victoria's show is a vlog as well. Go ahead and explain it. I forgot to have you explain it.
Oh, it's
and then I'm
okay.
going to wrap up.
I forgive you. So mine is going to be focused just more so on just like the lessons I'm learning in life, like friendship, career, I guess love. I don't really know anything about that, but just chronicling, life experiences and lessons I'm learning as a 20-something Black woman.
Awesome. And as you know, this is Thank God for the Group Chat, and unofficially, this is the tagline. Unofficially, because it's not a tagline at all. When I say it, you're gonna be like, it's not a tagline. I believe that this show is it's a Christian podcast for the non-Christian, and so that's basically what it is. And so it's not for Christians, basically. It's a Christian podcast for people that. I'm checking it up, but yeah.
All right, y'all. Have a good night. We love you.
Hey, I end this show. We out.
Bye.